That song is called Wind Sail, which means we're about to get the wind in our sails. I'm not a father. It's not a dad joke. I'm not very good at those. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. I was streaming until like 2 a.m. last night and we're back. So welcome in everybody. My name is Travis, Super Trav, Travioli if you're feeling spicy. It's there on the wall in case you forget it. We are here with TravTalks in the morning, which I know, we're not used to. Whomst? Who could be here? Well, time zones are a bitch, we'll say. And they make it so that not everybody can do the same things at the same time. And as much as I would love to be able to do the same things at the same time as everybody else and do all the collabs in the world, that's just not how life works. But today we have a very special guest, someone I've been following for a very long time, actually since the Tank Bros days. I'm not actually sure if our guest remembers the Tank Bros. I didn't ask that. Huh. But anyway, it's nice and early this morning. Well, it's morning for me, but it's afternoon for them. We have Nuggs, the final girl, and this person is a self-described horror MILF. One of my somebody I definitely look up to as a creator in the sense that she is very she has found the exact niche that she wants, and she has found it and it fucking just like exploded within it, and that is so cool to see. Just a creator who like, because every creator starts from zero, right? There's very few creators that start from like above that, and like we all start from zero, and she has really risen very, very high. So I want to welcome y'all. In case there are any questions or anything like that, there will be a Q&A at the end. So don't worry, we have plenty of time to ask any questions. You can ask them and you can save them if you want to. You can also ask them in chat. We might address it during the chat. We also might save it until the end. So worry not, your question will likely get answered. If there's any other things going on before that, if you're feeling like, you know what, this is too much, maybe we're talking about something that's really close to home, that is okay. TravTalks is not my normal type of content. Normally I'm, doing, silly vices and things like that. And meanwhile, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the mental health side of things, which can be rather triggering for some people. So of course, as always, make sure to take care of yourselves first. If you need to go grab a snack, get yourself a drink, take a walk, that is all okay. So, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon or good night to some people, because I'm pretty sure a couple of people are like across the waters. So, anyway, let's get this started. Let's see. Let's all of a sudden, is there a voice in the sky?
Oh my gosh, is
Whoa.
it God?
Could it be?
God is a woman.
Oh, I love that song. I love that song. Let's welcome Nuggs the Final Girl, everybody.
Hello, hi.
Welcome. How are you doing this morning? Evening,
Really
afternoon?
good. Really good. I just got done with my stream and I beat the game, so everything's up and up.
Yeah. The game you were playing, you said it was a walking simulator.
So it's like a walking simulator with a, detective twist. So you're a detective and the game tells you nothing. Literally diddly squat. So you just got to kind of actually be a detective. And it's like semi-horror because I only play, I mostly only play horror games on my stream, and it had some of the most effective jump scares that I have experienced in my years of horror gaming. So I definitely give kudos to The Vanishing of Ethan Carter for one of the best jump scares I've experienced.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I already kind of introduced you, but I want to give you a chance to also introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Nuggs the Final Girl, your horror hostess and streamer, I guess. I do everything horror from like Did You Knows to horror gaming to horror movies. Some what I call like slight plays because they're not like cosplays, like full on cosplays, because I'm poor. And so I do like horror themed photo shoots and horror thirst traps, supposedly, and that's me.
I mean, that the way I found you originally was TikTok.
Yes,
a long time ago was on TikTok. I unfortunately don't remember who you were playing at the time.
I don't know.
Yeah, and no, it was a long time ago. It was during the Tank Bros days.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where I first saw you, was when you were part of Tank Bros.
Yeah, that was what feels like
forever ago. Yeah.
But it's only been a little over a year.
That's something like that.
Yeah, but
that's crazy.
Yeah, so let's get a little bit of history of Nuggs here. Sure. What got you into it? What started it? Like, what was the ignition?
So, my now husband actually was like, I'm going to start streaming. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm going to, keep doing my thing. But I really liked playing video games. I got into gaming way later in life, like in my late 20s. So I'm experiencing a ton of games for the first time, and I was like, hey, I don't want to work a traditional job anymore, mostly because I am a certified CNC machinist. So I made like airplane parts, gun parts, standing on your feet for 12 hours plus. I was like, I'm too nice to like be in this environment. And it's a male dominated field, so I'm not like, I don't know the right word, strong enough to be like, I deserve a raise, because I do that. Like, that doesn't get you a raise. So I was like, what can I do? And he had already started like in the streaming sphere, and I was like, let's see what I can do. And I started off playing Resident Evil because those are fantastic games.
Like original or the remakes?
The original.
Okay, cool.
OG. Well, technically it's the remaster because it didn't have the traditional tank controls. It had like semi-tank controls, which were still a pain in the ass to use.
They're both bad.
I can't deal with it, which is why I loved that they are remaking them, because sweet Jesus, my brain can't keep up with tank controls.
Tank controls are difficult, no doubt.
And not being a gamer, when tank controls first came out, there's not that like muscle memory to it. So I was like, I cannot.
Yeah.
And then I started on Twitch, and
Okay.
then Facebook gaming was like first starting to like be big.
Right.
When I first started. So I was like, let's jump on that train. And I actually started out as Nugget Babe.
Okay.
That was what I went with, or was, for forever.
Yeah.
And I was Nugget Babe for probably 2.5 years out
okay.
on Facebook. And that's really where I got my foothold, and I will be forever grateful for that. But I hate to say it, it's a terrible platform. It's not for gaming. They need to fix a lot of stuff. It's poop. It's caca. I hated it.
Yeah, for real.
But the availability to people was astronomical for my growth, because it would push me out to Facebook pages. It would push me out to people's like families, friends posts, or
Totally. Yeah.
And then I realized, after doing some collabs and having some pretty negative experiences with that in the past as Nugget Babe, I was like, I need something more concrete. I need a direction for myself, so I'm not just like floundering in the internet space.
Totally.
And I went through like a pretty big transition as well, like physically, because when I started as Nugget Babe, I didn't have like boobs. I had no boobs. And then I got boobs, and they were very big.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to like transition into that. So I was like always really covered, and I was like, I'm taking pride on being like modest, but like very voluptuous and like in your face.
Okay.
But then I was like, that's not really my personality. I'm a lot more like sexual, feminine. I want to be the like true antithesis of like femininity.
Right.
Is like my goal. And but then I had complications, and then I had to move down to what I am now.
Okay.
So now it's on the search for bigger boobs again.
Okay. Now, did you, was that just like a natural transition? Was that a buying kind of thing?
I definitely, I had to go, if you're asking like if I had to have surgery, I had to have surgery to get bigger boobs, and then I had to have surgery to get them out, because I had what's called a slow leak, and so they were just oozing in me.
And that's not what they're supposed to do.
That's, when you buy something
right,
and it doesn't do the thing, it's really disappointing.
It is, especially that expensive thing.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, the expensive thing that health insurance is like, nah.
No thanks.
Sounds like a you problem.
That's for you and you alone.
That sounds like what they say. So I love the idea of the feminine embracing the sexuality deal, because that is such like a specifically here in America, it's a very kind of taboo thing still. Like it's changing, and I love that it's changing, but there is still like, well, the whole what's the it's if a lock can be opened by a lot of keys, then it's a bad luck or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, fuck you, man.
Like, that makes, you're a poop. Like, quiet, please.
Yeah. Hush, 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 hush.
Yeah, I wanted my goal, I guess, in life, now that I say it out loud, is to be a positive figure in a niche market, and be the epitome. Is that the right word? Epitome? The antithesis. Yeah.
The epitome?
Words. Yeah, the epitome of like feminine and horror mixed together.
Right. So, Nuggs the Final Girl, like the Final Girl is a big old horror trope for those who don't know, and that's where that came from.
Yes, correct. So the final girl is the girl, or now the final person that survives out of the whole entire movie. So Laurie Strode is a final girl, Sydney Watts. I mean, there's even a movie called the Final Girls Club.
Yeah.
There's books, all kinds of stuff. And I
Yes.
wanted a different spin on the horror genre, or like in the horror creator space, because most, and this is no call out to them, but most women in that field are like traditional goth, very goth dark, like very horror, very like vampire, the like main staples. And I felt like the final girl is someone whose characteristics I felt I personally embodied. Like they're usually very nice. They like, I don't know. I just wanted to bring a different spin to horror and show that yes, horror is like grotesque and hard to deal with, and like the worst imaginable things happen, but there's also like good in it too.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to narrow it down.
Okay, yeah, and one of those things that I, you know, and this is totally a me thing, and I've talked about this with my with the chat before, is horror movies for me are I have to be in a specific headspace sometimes. If I and I told you this, and some people in the chat know also, I am a therapist in real life, and dealing with an entire day of like real life trauma and then going home and watching a horror movie it can be really fuck with your head.
Absolutely it can.
There's times when like the gore is like so much that you're like, okay, like this is fine, like
this is, yeah,
you know, Evil Dead, like whatever, okay, you know. But then there's other times where it's like a little too real and it becomes like I need to like I use this example a lot. I need to watch Peter Griffin get hit in the balls with a sack of nickels over and over again, because that
I need a stuffed animal, Disney movies, chocolate cake, like a soft blanket.
I need my weighted blanket and to play old Mega Man games or something. Like I just need like to be down here. So obviously there's something that drew you to horror in the first place. What was it that drew you to horror in the first place?
That for the most part, you can kind of do anything. Like you could make anything horror. And horror is such an integral, maybe integral is not the right word. Horror is in our life no matter what. And I think it can bring up conversations that people may not be ready to have yet, but upon watching it, it makes them have that conversation, whether with themselves or with other people. And I think it can be both very fun and over the top and campy. I mean, look at Sharknado. Like, that's technically horror, but it is the most cheese-worthy you could throw on the plate. And then you have depressing, dark, degrading movies that unfortunately do happen in real life, and it can be such a cool topic because you can touch on so many topics.
Yeah. And is that what like drew you to it specifically? Like you were like,
yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of like trauma in my past, and I definitely felt that watching horror movies and reading horror books was one, an escapism, but also it was, you know, the revenge movies out there. It's nice to be like,
okay,
yes, like she killed that guy because he, you know, R-worded her, and she just like did it. And it's so satisfying, and I felt like I could live vicariously through that without, you know, going to jail or all of it.
Right, of course, yeah. Because in real life, bad things happen. Right. So like, was there like a specific one? Was it like American Mary and it just like clicked, or was it something else?
I actually started with Jason, original, you know, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I don't think like the horror genre really had an impact on me until I was like in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there was like a movie
Okay.
per se. Definitely. I mean, I Spit on Your Grave had like a pretty big impact.
Good one.
But I think because I love like special effects and like learning how movies happen behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, horror movies can do like so much.
Yeah.
And you have your creative sphere is like you can create monsters and witches, and I was like, I want to
Totally.
do that because I used to want to be a special effects makeup artist.
Totally.
But that didn't happen. So now I'm like, I'm gonna host the thing.
I might as well talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. Is Jason your favorite slasher?
Yeah, he's my favorite.
That's fair.
I, would do dirty things to him, even though he's a demon. Like,
Demon zombie
I mean,
thing?
technically, I think it came out officially that he is a deadite, but that is.
But isn't that's a whole separate, like, that's evil?
Yeah,
Whatever.
they're supposedly connected, and that's why he can like go to space and come back and like
Totally connected.
go to Manhattan. Like,
oh no, don't. He never went to Manhattan. Never happened.
So, you know what? I think that's a Mandela effect for me then.
Yeah, I don't think it ever happened. Not to gaslight you or anything. No, it's very Mike Myers is my guy specifically.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Mike Myers for me because, and this is my reasoning, is because he is unstoppable no matter what they throw at him, and that is more scary than anything else. Because
I mean,
they've like they've killed Freddy multiple times, and he comes back, of course. But
yeah.
like they literally like dropped a burning house on Mike Myers, and he like walks through it.
Oh my god, I know.
And that was more scary to me because it was like this unstoppable force is always coming at you slowly, and it is gonna kill you no matter what.
I wish they leaned into more of him being like undead, like a force more, than like being a human. Because when the continuations, the remakes, I don't know what you want to call it, the newer ones came out.
The newer ones, we'll just
I liked. Well, at first I was like, okay, so you're telling me, late 50s man is going to be able to like take a knife and kill all these people like that. Yes, like late 50s, early 60s isn't that old per se,
sure.
And there were like really strong individuals that are that age.
He must be jacked, right?
I mean, he's got to be. He was in jail or an insane asylum, whatever it was.
Yeah, he's got to be yoked or something, man.
He's got to be like, oh. But in my brain, I was like, this doesn't seem plausible. And for me, the only way to think of it was that he was like otherworldly.
Right. No, I like my thought was always he is a human who got like either like possessed
evil incarnate,
or like the devil is in him, or whatever it is, whatever demon devil you want to like throw in there, and that's what's keeping him alive and moving.
Yeah.
At least that's what that was what like I like, because I don't know.
No,
suspension of disbelief, because it's like he would be like, because if Laurie Strode is like 70, like
exactly, like you can't. That was my point. And when the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, I did a review for it, and I was like, so you're telling me this 60, 70-year-old man is holding and swinging a 10-pound chainsaw through multiple people for like 4 hours straight? No, sir. I don't believe it. He better be evil and undead or possessed or something.
He better be.
But he's not. He's a human.
But he's not. No, and so like that, like the original slashers, I feel like got a ton of people into the world of horror. Like Jason was also my partner's first one. She's got a little Jason mask on her foot.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it is kind of cute. She's like, I'm gonna touch it up and make it scarier, and I'm like, I mean, go for it. But
I'm gonna have to get a little one now.
She did it on a Friday the 13th, so it was perfect.
That's so smart, and probably way cheap too.
And way cheaper, right? Yeah, because a lot of tattoo shops do that thing.
Do the sale.
Yeah, where they're like, hey, $30. Anything
get a flash tattoo.
Anything that's like the size of like a $50 or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got into it through Jason, and then that just expanded into some of the revenge films.
Yes.
Which I always warn people with revenge films that the first 25 minutes or so are really hard to watch.
Incredibly hard to watch.
They're always wildly hard to watch. And then what about like the gore porn, as it were? Like, is that kind of your thing? Is that less so your thing?
So gore porn wasn't
Hostile.
Yeah, wasn't really my thing, but it was more, I watched more of it in my like early 20s. Because I mean, that's when like Hostel came out. I think I was like 18 or something. When did I don't know. Hostel came out sometime and I was some age. And oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in high school. I have a pretty high tolerance for like gore and some depravity. So like Hostel didn't really bother me as on like a deeper level, because I was like, it's a movie.
Right, of course. Whatever.
But I appreciate it as its own genre, and I'm glad that people can make that. It's not for me because I feel like it detracts from what you're trying to put on screen.
There we go.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry. There was a thing that popped up over here. Can you repeat that last part?
Sure. I was going to say, gore porn, I respect it as a genre, and I'm glad people can make it, and it does really well. But for me, it detracts from the movie, from the story, from the you connecting with the character. I'm much just like, I'm not a traditional lover of jump scares.
Sure.
Like traditional jump scares of like loud noise, bang type of deal. I love a unknown, unique, I wasn't expecting it thing. But yeah, it has its own place. It's not my favorite. I do watch them. But I don't go searching for that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Now,
what about you?
Well,
sorry.
No, that's okay. I will say, I like it to a point. So like, I just recently watched Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
The new one.
And
it's pretty good. There's a couple of parts that definitely make you tense up because you're like of the feeling that you get.
Yeah.
It's in the, I won't spoil it for anybody. It's in the preview. Is there's a cheese grater on somebody's calf. And it is wildly uncomfortable.
It is. The sound in that alone.
The sound was so bad.
Very visceral.
Yeah. I definitely was like sitting and I was just like, because like it wasn't like it didn't
workout.
It didn't like scare me. It was just like I was just tense for a minute because it was like
Well, because you picture it on yourself and you're just like, oh god, my leg.
Yeah, immediately. Immediately. Yeah, but there's other parts in there that I'm not gonna like give away to anybody, but yeah, pretty good, honestly. Pretty good.
I thought it was a solid outing.
Yeah. And Sam not directed Sam Raimi, but produced. So
yeah.
Definitely plenty of touches in there. So which I can appreciate,
Yeah.
I appreciate him being like hands off for the most part and then being like, here's a little bit of a thing for you.
Well, and then we got Maggot Mommy, which I'm totally on board for.
Sure.
Love her. I loved her in Vikings, and I loved her in this.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I also have VAD, which is villain attraction disorder. I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
No.
Or if I just made it up, but I have that. So
you know, I've heard of it being like a not like a disorder or anything, but it's more like I'm attracted to like a darker, scarier thing. You know, I like people with tattoos and piercings and stuff, things that are considered taboo or whatever, right?
Well, that's probably why I like Pyramid Head so much. So
like that's a big one right now.
That's huge.
Yeah, you know, he's wildly strong. You know,
but
when they say rip me in half, he like can literally do it. You know,
he can literally drill them in half because he has a drill dick, and that's intimidating. So
yeah. Not something I'm super into, but like I get it, you know. Not something I'm wildly into, but I get it.
You don't want to. It literally is getting drilled.
Quite literally. And yeah, so like there's something about like that darkness that attracted you to this world of horror. But you were you're like, I'm not like that traditional goth either. I'm not like the Victorian goth. I'm not Elvira.
No.
I'm not doing anything like that, but I love this style of thing. I could be the hostess of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a cool idea, because it's like I don't quite fit into that exact like model that you see a lot, you know. And there's nothing wrong with people who are like super into gothy stuff.
Of course.
Because like goth mommies like for all day. But like Lady D in Resident Evil, right? Like
exactly.
Not quite traditional goth.
Not quite traditional goth.
But you're still like
you're scooting in there. I like to be able to scoot places, apparently.
Fit myself in right here.
I didn't want to be like stuck in something. I wanted a place or a genre that I could explore multiple facets of, mostly because I can't stay concentrated on one thing for too long anyway.
Yeah.
So I need not only like I need soft direction.
Okay.
Like you're in horror, but you could do like horror comedy, you could do horror games, you could do horror books.
Yeah.
So then it's like, and then I was like, well, hostess, so this is, you know, like a podcast, all that stuff on the internet. You're on the internet, so you're like hosting the internet.
Sure, right.
So I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm like, so I mean, I'm nice. I want to like take care of people, and I want like a good space for people to talk about what we all love, which, well, in the Survivors Club, what's horror, but that's what I call like our group is the Survivors Club, because no matter what, we all have survived something, and I am a big proponent of like mental health and like getting what you need. And I was like, I want it to be kind of known that like we acknowledge like where people have come from, but we're like here for like each other, and like we survived the killer.
Right, totally. Yeah, and mental health being such like a big, it's a big thing in horror a lot of the time too. It's usually one of the like more common things that they talk about: anxiety, depression. They don't generally talk about like, well, you know, the final girl's really ADHD, and she's just like, where am I going? You know, like nothing like that. Running from the killer, and she's like, why am I running? You know, like, nothing like that. No, but it's very like, they talk about depression, they talk about PTSD. That's a huge one in the horror world.
Huge.
Massive in the horror world. Like, and like literally the Halloween movies, right? Like, like it's constant. It's constantly talked about. And Laurie Strode is not a good example of somebody who is taking care of herself.
In many ways, yeah.
Just letting y'all know about that.
That is not the way to go.
I'm just letting just, you know, you can follow her lead as far as strength goes, but do not follow her lead as far as taking care of herself goes. She's not good at it.
Because it doesn't happen.
She's not good at it. But there's this world that you come from of like mental health is important, obviously. And as much as that doesn't feel super obvious, because you, like in a horror movie, it's like, oh, you're just watching people die, you're watching horrible things happen, you know, people getting unalived, whatever, right? As we have to say on TikTok, we can't say die.
Right. Exactly.
But that world of like getting like talking about it while also acknowledging that like we're allowed to escape into these very 99 some odd % of the time pretty unrealistic things.
Yeah.
Very what's the word I'm looking like I was what's the shoot, it's not going to come to me. It's that horror film that was quite literally a snuff film. The something the something files, the something.
It's the. Are you talking about the Poughkeepsie tapes?
Yes, thank you.
That's one. Yeah,
that's it. I was like, tapes, files. What is it?
I'm racking my brain.
And there was a P. I was right.
Poughkeepsie.
For those who don't know, that is quite literally a snuff film that somehow got released to theaters and stuff like that. Don't recommend checking that out unless you're mentally prepared for actual shit happening.
I wasn't mentally prepared going into it, and I just like sat there and I was like, I can't believe I am watching this. I was like, I was looking for things that like to like trigger my brain to be like, okay, that's fake. Okay, that's like type of deal. And a lot of the time, I mean, horror movies can go like one or two ways in that, because not only was it like a snuff film, it was like a found footage on top of that. So that's super easy to like, I don't know. Yeah, don't watch that movie unless you are very, very, very prepared.
Be ready. I don't recommend it, honestly.
No, I don't either. I don't either. That is not on my Nuggs top horror movies to watch.
But you could watch watch something unrealistic, like I said it earlier, American Mary, right? Like
exactly, that's a great film.
Bad things happen, revenge happens, but the revenge part is pretty like horror
over the top.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It is really good. I actually recently just rewatched that.
I found it on Blu-ray for like $8.
Nice. That's a sick find.
I know. Yeah, there's a like a what's East Coast? FYE, but like different. I don't know if it's
okay. So Bull Moose.
Basically, yeah. It was just they have just walls of movies and DVDs and whatever, and a bunch of used video games and books and whatever.
Yeah, we don't get cool stores up here, so.
Do you get anything up there?
I mean, we were actually just talking about this on my stream earlier.
I know,
of like what people's perception of Maine is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like Starbucks and a Target and like Hannaford and Walmart.
Sure.
But
major corporations.
Dunk's reigns supreme. Dunkin' Donuts for sure.
Okay.
But no, mostly that's it. like in my hometown, we have a McDonald's, a Walmart, a dollar store.
Okay.
And then it's nothing but like antique stores and galleries, like art galleries and the ocean. And
I don't think Amish make it that far up there, do they?
No, they do actually.
They do.
We have a huge Amish community in Maine.
Okay. My partner's from Pennsylvania, where a lot of Amish are. So
Pennsylvania, like Dutch Amish.
Quite literally, yeah. They buy firewood from them.
Nice.
It's always really good quality and everything.
Oh my gosh, all of their stuff is absolutely fantastic. I bought like mittens from them once, and I had them for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Because someone just sat at home and just rock how tight that was. So, I was gonna actually ask a little bit about location, right?
Sure.
If you're so interested in like the movie scene, that whole like all that shit's on the West Coast.
All of it.
All of it's on the West Coast.
Everything I've ever wanted to do in life is not here.
And they sometimes, you know, they'll film out in the fucking middle of nowhere, West Virginia or some shit, but like,
yeah,
it's cheaper there. But like,
we
all that
got
stuff that you're so interested in is far away.
Yeah, that's been a major bummer for me, to be honest. And a lot of it just really sucks, man. And like I've always had a dream of like moving out like there and getting noticed, and you know, that Hollywood dream. But that never seemed like my deal.
Okay.
Nothing like that ever really worked out. I've gotten close a couple times, like with certain connections, who, you know, like I still have, they weren't like bridges burnt or whatever.
Sure.
But like something just always happened. So when I started being Nuggs the Final Girl, I was like, we have, like, what do I have available to me? And it was diddly poop. Just absolute shit. It's woods. And then I was like, what can I do with what I have? And then I was like, well, Stephen King is a thing. He lives like next to my cousin. So like, I mean, isn't that how it is?
You're just like barbecuing and you're just like,
hey, Mr. King.
Hey,
but then I was
really
like,
liked Under the Dome.
yeah, well, you know, one of hundreds.
Yeah, right. Amazing what a little bit of cocaine will do to punch out some books, right?
Absolutely. Well, there's nothing to do here. What else was he supposed to do? There's literally, you can go for a hike. That's why our nope, it's not coming out. Opioid epidemic. That's what I was talking about. That's why our opioid epidemic is so high in Maine, and really you should get help. And if you know anyone that needs help, there are facilities that you can do that. But yeah, it's really bad in Maine because there's nothing to do.
The East Coast it has a lot of painkiller issues.
So bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have shit to do here because we don't get a lot of conventions over here. If we do have conventions, it's like a smaller convention.
Sure, right.
So now I'm like slowly shifting towards being like, hey, things can happen in Maine, and be like, all right, I'm from Maine. I'm gonna freaking make this work, and we're gonna do things in Maine because Maine is.
You're trying to put Maine on the map.
Trying to put Maine on the map. Look at all this possibility. It's woods.
So much room for Renaissance
activities.
Renaissance fairs, baby.
Yeah. Well, it would be great for haunt attractions.
True. Because
there's like endless themes that you could do, especially just on the coast, because you could have like lobster, like not actual lobster, but like lobstermen coming to get you.
Lobsterman. That's
lobsterman?
That's the word.
Yeah, lobsterman.
No, that's not a word, is it?
Yeah. I used to be a lobsterman. I used to lobster. as a Mainer does.
That feels made up.
No, a lobsterman.
That's not like a sailor or like a mariner or something?
Well, I mean, I was a sternman because I held the stern.
But they're called lobstermen?
Lobstermen. You didn't know that?
No.
I thought that was like a known thing.
No, I live in Colorado. You think there's ocean around here? Give me a break.
I mean, you don't. You have mountains?
We have lovely mountains.
My aunt lives up there, but I've never been.
Beautiful spot. Beautiful spot. And we just had a horror convention here, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know. I see all these conventions all the time, and I'm like, if only it didn't cost an arm and a leg to even just get to you. Like, come.
Would it be like for you then to get to those things, to make some of those IRL connections? Would that be like you have to go to like Boston or like Philadelphia or like
Boston, New York, Yep. I have to travel states away to
Yeah.
do stuff like that, because in Maine, our biggest one
Maybe Baltimore.
is, yeah, probably. But yeah, our biggest convention is like PortCon, which is,
Tell me more about PortCon, please.
so PortCon is a like an anime type
Okay.
convention that happens in our like civic center.
Mhm.
But it is not large
Sure.
as far as civic centers go.
Mhm.
We're very small here.
Yeah.
We don't, for how big the state is and how much real estate there actually is available, we're very clustered.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't get a lot. I mean, we just had Kane Hutter come up, which was really nice.
Hmm.
And like Ryan Hurst, but we mostly get like book people and some anime voice actors, but like it's really hard to sell celebrities on
Yeah.
coming to Maine because we don't have the facilities to like do it.
It's just, yeah. Just don't have the spot.
It's just kind of shitty. And so I want to like be like, hey, we can get some people here maybe if I make a name for myself and be like, let's help out Maine.
Right. You're like, that way I don't have to travel either.
Well, I mean, the job security, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, right. If I'm the only one in the state who does it,
Then it's mine, damn it.
then nobody can fire me. Yeah, it's I mean, I would say you've made a name for yourself at this point. Like,
Thanks, that feels weird. Not that it feels weird you saying it just feels weird to hear it.
sure, I don't doubt it. I mean, like, even people will bring it up randomly, and it's a very parasocial thing. But like, because like, if it, and we know that comparison is the thief of joy. We know that. We know that. Everybody keep that in mind, chat. It's very like, I sit here with my 1,200 followers on Instagram versus your 100,000, 110,000 ish, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, if I compare those two, it's like nothing, right?
Oh,
Versus, right? Somebody who looks at my 1,200 and is like, I have 45, And
it's a vicious cycle.
It's very hard not to compare yourself.
Absolutely.
And finding that like that balance of not comparing yourself versus wanting to grow and also not getting bogged up in the numbers.
It's really hard. And that's one thing that I've definitely struggled with, like the 4 years that I've been doing this, is not only who I want to be and embody on the internet, if I want to be a character or not, because like Dr. Disrespect is a character, like he's not that out of streaming or his job, and I've also struggled with like consistency and like making it a real job. Mostly because I'm severely neurodivergent, and that has its own challenges of like, I have so many whiteboards and like sticky notes, and I also don't have like a ton of like familiar support. And being a mom and having a husband that also is in the same industry, getting stuff done is incredibly hard because childcare right now is literally non-existent. I am on like 15 waiting lists that are 2 years out.
That's insane.
It's crazy. And a lot of those are like hour-long drives just to get him to it.
Right.
And so we are always home, always with a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, both trying to do the same thing at the same time. Like both doing the same field at the same time. It is so hard. And I think that's why I have such a hard time like compartmentalizing numbers and growth and stuff, because I'm like,
Sure.
well, if I'm not doing this, then I'm letting like them down, and if I'm not getting X, then
Yeah. Well, and then you have like, because you are the provider in this sense,
yeah,
like if I don't hit a certain number, if I don't have a certain number of subs or the subscribers on Instagram, which is like still like kind of mind blowing to me, or the
yeah,
or the schmolny or whatever it is, right?
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
somebody told me you can't say that on Twitch, but like I don't believe it.
Oh, really?
I was
I don't
told
know.
that. I don't know how true that is.
I have been calling it Phoenix because that's like their parent company.
Whoa, it's true. Yes.
So that's what I've been calling it as like code word, not only like around my son, but like like in the industry, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been calling it Phoenix because not a lot of people know what that means, but the people that do know, they know.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you don't hit these certain numbers, then you're like, as a provider, you're like, well, I'm letting my kid down and let my partner down, and I'm sure he probably feels some of the same things.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Because he's more right. He's an author, so his projects take longer periods of time to put out a product.
Right.
So like he struggles with that, and then everything he's got, and so it's like a lot of people, the general person doesn't understand how much work and time and effort people put into doing the bare minimum for what this is.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and when you make it your full-time gig, and this is it, and I've talked to other full-time creators. B is a friend of mine, and she's got 3 kids. Like she's a full-time creator at this point because she got laid off during the pandy. So like it's when it becomes your job, it's so hard not to get wrapped up in that stuff.
Oh, it's your entire life, because
it has to be almost.
Yeah, there is no escape, and that sounds really like damning, like doomsday.
Sure.
But like, it is one of the most frustrating but rewarding jobs I've ever had.
Yeah.
It sucks because like the highs are so high and the lows are pretty low. Right. Because it's not like a traditional job where you're like, oh, I lost a job, now I gotta like go find one that's like very similar and I'll be okay. Like this, when you go full time and you commit to being full time, you like can't give up.
Right. Well, and you find this, like, you have to find this weird balance, or at least this is what I've found. And like, I have a traditional job, I have my 40 a week. It's summertime right now, so I'm off, but like the say it again.
No, sorry, I totally cut you off.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was gonna say, which to me is more impressive, when creators have traditional jobs and do what they do. I like look up to those type of creators more than the people that do it for a job, because after a certain point of like growth, you get the luxury of having paid help, and then it becomes easier to achieve the bare minimum of like what you've created needs to be. And so to me, there are like layers or like thresholds of, I don't know what you'd call it, but yeah, I find it more commendable when people like you have 40-hour jobs and do this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like there is a pretty stark difference between like what I do and I only have a puppy to take care of versus a literal child, right?
Yeah.
Because like I deal with children for 40 hours a week and then I'm good, right?
Yeah, well, children are amazing, especially if you can give them back. Like, absolutely.
I
Like,
agree.
not everyone needs to have kids. Not everyone needs to want to have kids.
Right.
Kids are amazing, and you know they're a blessing and all that stuff. Every child's a gift. But like,
there's the other side of
there's the other side. It's extremely time consuming. You're not your person, and
Right.
you're a caregiver. You decided to make your life more than just yourself, and then you have to deal with it being more than just yourself.
Right. And I will say, like, a lot of, you know, I know that there's some moms in chat, and like, you know, that it's nobody. I'm sure that every mom that I talk to in my job is very much, every mom, caregiver, dad, whatever, has been like, oh man, there are days that I'm just like, can you just like sit outside for 24 hours? Like, can you like,
well, because you can only handle the same thing for so long, no matter what it is. And like that doesn't take away from like your love and your care, but like I get overstimulated as like a person in general. So
Right.
having a extroverted, like very rambunctious 5-year-old boy,
Right.
and the true antithesis of a boy, if I can say that now. Paul, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But he's a boy.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes I just gotta be like, the stuff that I've learned in like my therapy, I've taught or like brought into with him, because I'll be like, mom just needs 5 minutes of you not touching her for once.
Yeah.
I need a mom break.
Doesn't
and
mean,
he'll be like,
doesn't mean I
okay.
don't love you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't care about you. Doesn't mean I want you to go away forever. You know?
Just don't touch me. You can sit next to me.
Yeah.
We can keep watching your, you know, Pokemon or whatever.
I just need you to be over there.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, I mean, I teach that stuff to moms a lot, or moms, dads, whoever. I say moms because I deal with them more often. But yeah, I mean, I've had single dads and the families come in and stuff like that, teaching them, you know, like sometimes you need a break from each other. We're all people, you know?
Yeah.
And like these young kids are also people, and they just have big emotions but little brains. So they don't understand, like they don't quite get like what some of those feelings are yet.
Well, and they definitely don't get adult nuance either.
No, of course not. So
they have a little squishy brain.
Right. It's very squishy, and it's great because it means they can learn. But they, you know, they're gathering the information and learning, oh, okay, when mom says, you know, mom break, okay.
Yeah.
I know what that means, and it's very behavioral until it gets to a point of, oh, mom actually needs that mom break because she's overstimulated. And that's very I think that's very important for parents to know, as well as anybody who takes care of kids, is like, no, we're people. We have needs. All of us have needs.
I find myself saying that to my son. I'll be like, he'll like be roughhousing or something and pretend to be a monster and like slash at me. And like, if he scratches me, I'll be like, hey, I'm a person. Like, I'm not a monster. Like, that hurt a person. It seems to be working, so.
There you go, right? I also tell parents, take the W's where you can get them.
Exactly.
Sometimes it feels like every day's an L, but it's like, no, we take those W's. We take the small W's as well.
I love the small W's.
Yeah. Because sometimes a small W can be like, yeah, they didn't spill any of their breakfast.
They did not spill a cup today. Woo!
Like, dude, W, right?
Yeah.
W, no sticky counters today. Yes, you know, good day. Just because, yeah, so there are very many, like, lots of different pieces to this childcare thing. And then when you are, when you have this as like your main source, and just knowing from, like, I can only use myself as an example here, is like, this takes a ton of time.
So much time.
This can take a lot of time if I let it, right? But it's not my full-time thing. And that's what I have to remind myself personally, right? Oh, I have, well, I didn't get as many subs this month. My payout's a little lower. That's frustrating. My growth on TikTok has kind of been like this kind of like weird plateauy thing.
Yeah.
And what do I do? Do I switch my content? Do I, like all these thoughts appear, and then you go, well, for me, at least I get to go, it's not my full-time gig, man. Like,
absolutely.
If it blows up, and that's great.
That's how I was when I first started.
Right. And now it's your full-time gig. So
I know, yeah.
And you're like, well, I kind of need it to blow up.
Womp womp.
It kind of need people to want to,
it's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, and then you're just like, there's a phoenix over there too, and you can
go check that out.
Check that out over there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really neat to look at.
It's really cool. Just saying.
It'd be cool if you did.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did too. And there's something to be said for, like, being that parent in this world of content creation, because people can also like weirdly weaponize your family against you
constantly.
Like I saw like when I was in your chat earlier and I saw your kid and your partner come in and like say goodbye and kiss you goodbye or whatever. Like I've seen other like content creators be like, I can't even like show my partner because I'll lose all this subscribers and all these, like I'll lose it because they like have this weird parasocial, well, I have a chance with Nuggs type of thing, Well,
and that's something that we talked about a lot, because I have a very unscrupulous past, I guess.
Unscrupulous. Good word.
Is that the right word?
Good juicy word.
I wasn't always the best partner in a lot of ways. And going into this space is a huge thing in a relationship, just for being a woman on the internet. Because obviously everyone deals with that. But then when you add, like, when I added bigger boobs and all of that stuff, then it brings it to a whole other place.
Right.
It's really, you really have to, if you're with someone, talk to them and figure out exactly what they are comfortable with and what you are also comfortable with, but also willing to accept and understand from your partner. It's crazy out here. But yeah, a lot of the time, at first, I didn't have any of my home life ever on camera. Like that was like one of the things that I was like, I'm never going to do. I'm never gonna have anyone know anything about me. I'm gonna keep everything completely off. They won't know that I'm in a relationship or have a family. I am just this. But then I talk so much that I would talk about things in my life. And I felt like I couldn't because they would have zero context. Because I didn't ever talk about it. And I just kind of slowly brought my real life into the fold, like very slowly, because I did capitalize on the big boobs, female on the internet, like,
fuck yeah,
get in there.
As you should, yeah.
Get in there, and then slowly peter into real life. But yeah, that was a huge discussion because it is so detrimental to some people. I mean, when Amaranth, when all of that came out and that she was married, like, so many people were like, what? God, unfollow, unsubscribe. Like, can't believe she's married.
Sexist bullshit.
Ugh. I was like, yeah, that's really, you're a shitty person. Like,
yeah,
that's some BS. Like, what? I am always like, what did you think was her life? Like, what do you think she did not on camera? But so yeah, I had that thought too.
Supposedly, they just thought that she just rolls around in tier 3 subs and.
Oh yeah, just is laying in money.
Yeah, it's just rolling in it.
She's just constantly on camera.
I mean, when she was doing her sleep streams, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
She'd literally just be sleeping and making money. And I'm like, that is so, like, people talk about how that's like lazy or like, it's like, no, that's such a shitty way to do it. It's like, well, two things. One, people are paying. Like, it's not forced.
No, you don't have to watch it.
No, nobody forces you to click on a stream, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, I would do it.
Like, yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you want to get paid to do something easy?
Right.
Like, yes, you may not like it or agree with it or want to do it, but like, why not? Why can't they get paid? I mean, there's a woman that her whole career is she takes a video of herself farting in a jar, closing it up, writing a note, and giving it to like the first person that pays her whatever money. Like, people are weird. They will watch whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the internet is an amazing place for that.
Because you have all types.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can find anything on the internet.
So if 5,000 people want to watch Amaranth sleep.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
There's a futon right there.
Exactly.
You know?
Lounge out.
You know, why not? And I would say like some of that is a lot of that is like this parasocial belief, like, well, you know, if I'm always at her streams and I'm always watching and I'm always making sure that I'm paying that tier 3, you know, whatever, and I'm subscribed on the Phoenix or whatever, and it's, I don't understand, and this is a personal thing, I don't understand why you wouldn't. Yeah, and I've tried to have it explained to me by people who don't agree, and they like don't have a good reason in my mind.
They never do, or it's like something stupid of like, oh, you're selling your body, and it's like, no, I sold my body when I was a machinist and a lobsterman doing hard fucking labor. Like, I had cuts, bruises, I got beat up and in hospitals more often in a traditional job. This is 10 times more safe. Like, right. I'm not ruining my body.
Right.
Like,
taking that selfie is way easier.
God, I didn't get in my 10 like sexual harassment insults today.
It's just fine, man. I just, you know, and at the end of the day, like, it's your body.
Yeah, like why?
Like, why do you care what I do with my body?
Exactly.
If I'm on the internet showing it off and making money, then good for me, right?
Well, I've had a lot of pushback, obviously, within my family, and the way that I have described it that has actually changed the view set of a few of my older relatives.
Sure.
Is you may think that showing my body online is, you know, disgraceful or whatever, but look at the impact that it has. I make, you know, X amount of money that then goes towards not only my family that provides for them, I also try and like put it back into the community. I also like try to like better my friends and actual family members. So like, why are you angry that I have found a way to make the world better?
Make your world better.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're like, oh, well, I guess when you put it like that. I'm like, well, how other way do you think it works out? It's okay for you to do your job. Like,
right. Like, their bodies are theirs, and if they would choose to sell them as a machinist or as a lobsterman or whatever, like, like that's their choice, right?
Absolutely.
And I think I don't know if it's like deep down it comes from this place of like jealousy, you know, like,
Oh,
or I
absolutely.
think for some people it's definitely jealousy, and I think for some of them it's this weird like conflict of like traditional values versus
Moral code and
yeah, like uh I can't remember. I think it was on a stream a little while back, but we were talking about how traditionalists aren't like it's not the new thing that's like bad. It's just that the change is the scary part.
is scary. Yeah, and change can be scary.
No doubt.
And like I get that, but like don't be a dick about change.
Okay, yeah, exactly, right?
Like it may like you may not like this change, but we may not like the next change. So like suck it up, buttercup.
things are going to change. It's the only constant, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we might as well, like, instead of like sitting there and trying to resist this change constantly and being like, there's a girl online who's got a low cut shirt or whatever, and
she showed a nipple.
I swear to God, you know, on Twitter, on my Twitter,
how dare they?
People put way worse stuff on Twitter. I'll promise you that.
God, yeah.
Worse is not the right word. More risque.
Yeah.
Worse is not the right word, because like I got friends who are sex workers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, like it'll just be like, oh, here's a streaming friend, here's a celebrity, and then it's like my friend getting fisted, and then like, you know, and then I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like,
all right, just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah, normal Twitter. I just got to make sure I'm not opening it in public, you know?
Yep.
I got to make sure I'm in the car or somewhere else.
I need the phone blinders.
The privacy screens?
Yeah.
Those are smart. Those are smart. You know, it's very, and I wonder too, like if everyone has this world around like themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of raised, at least in American culture, we're all very raised to be like the main character.
Yeah.
So like, if the world doesn't revolve around my thoughts and feelings,
well, then
you know,
sucks to be you, because I'm coming.
I'm gonna get pissed off at this girl who showed one nipple on Instagram or whatever.
Oh my God. Like I had a picture like a while ago where it was just like my nipples showing through my shirt. Like not even like the color, just that they were hard. And people were like, how dare you? You should put a bra on. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, it's a nipple. Like,
no.
And it's cold. Like,
I don't know if y'all been to Maine. It gets cold up here.
It is cold like 80% of the time.
It's cold and rainy, and the breeze from the ocean is chilly.
It is. It is very cold. It's a lot colder as you get towards the coast than it is inland.
Which is ironic, because people think beach is hot.
Yep. Nope. It's at least 10 degrees colder than you think it is.
When I lived in Oregon, it was the same way. Like, you go to the beach and it's nice and sunny, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in the water, and the water's like 35 degrees. You know?
Yeah. You're like, okay,
like,
I didn't know I was doing a polar dip.
I'm gonna stick my feet in here, and that is it for 2 minutes.
Well, and then because it's the ocean, it's salty, and then you get like kind of that stickiness afterwards.
That's true.
Unless you don't, and I'm a weirdo and have odd skin, so when I go into salt water, I get like.
There's definitely like a difference in texture after.
Oh, for sure.
After a dip in salt water, but I wouldn't call it sticky. Yeah.
Maybe we're just really humid here.
It is way more humid.
So, oh my gosh, the humidity is at like 75% right now.
Pass.
It's awful.
Pass. I'm pretty sure it is at 5 here in Denver.
Oh. People are always like, do you like the heat? And I'm like, I like dry heat. I do not like humidity.
Yeah.
Fuck humidity.
Fucking humidity, I swear. So I was going to ask a little bit, changing subjects just a little.
No, yeah.
Something that I was going to ask about was, do you, in the world of horror hosting, that kind of world, is there ever a want or a feel to like branch out of that? Like, are you like, you know what I just want to play like a silly, brightly colored, goofy game, you know, or something like that?
I don't think so, only because I do that for me.
Okay.
Like, that's what I've reserved for myself, like not performing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is like just like I started binging The Sims 4 again.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to build a house.
Mm-hmm. Or tear it down.
Yeah, or murder someone in a pool.
Oops.
I took out the ladder again.
Ah, jeez.
But yeah, I don't think I will ever want to branch out, because I think I have set up my persona
Mm-hmm.
to be vague enough. Or vague? Just vague?
Okay.
I'm just vague.
You know me. The faceless vague one.
Or you don't.
Or I just exist. Yeah, there's I think, and this is my own kind of personal thought around it.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody who like exclusively does Final Fantasy streams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. Awesome. New game just came out. I'm sure they're rolling in it. They're having a great time. And there's something to be said for like, that is like your love. But there's like,
there's so many other things.
Do you feel stuck? Like, I'm like, do you ever like feel like, man, I just want to play. I just want to play like Super Meat Boy or something weird, like.
But see, I try to make games that are not traditionally horror games horror. So like I wanted to play Skyrim for the first time like a few years ago.
I just started Skyrim for the first time like a month or two ago.
Nice. And I modded the crap out of it. So I made it darker. I made it have like some SCPs in there, like some cool stuff in it. Like there's a whole underground like dungeon that I added to it to make it like, a traditional horror game. So I think I'm lucky in that I can tweak something to make it fit. And I think I got really lucky. I feel like a lot of people, like you said, that are like just Call of Duty or just Final Fantasy or like just retro even, because I have a buddy, Wayne's Gaming World, he does or used to just do just retro, just all the retro games, and he was like, I love these games and this is my absolute passion, but like I don't want to play this again for the fourth time, like,
right, because they don't make new retro games.
They don't make new retro games. And I found myself thinking that when I was on Facebook gaming, because there's a page, I guess they're a group now, called Biohazard Declassified, which they are fantastic. I've done like one collab with them way back in the day. But they used to only do Resident Evil. And I watched as they were like, hey, we're gonna like maybe try something else. Their viewership and their community kind of like, it did not crumble in any sort of way, but like there were some fall offs from it.
Yeah.
And as a creator, you're like, oh, did I do like the bad? I don't want to do the bad. Come back. Like, just kidding. Can I delete that one stream?
Yeah, JK.
It's hard.
Yeah, and I think I've thought about like that a little bit here and there, like the way that I come at content is like, I want people to like me for me, and I'm going to play games that I enjoy and that hopefully they enjoy as well, but I'm hoping that they mostly just come from me, type of thing. That way I can kind of do whatever.
Being a personality streamer, I think, is the best way to do this, because you do what you like and you will always hopefully be happy doing it.
I mean, my just chattings always do like a lot better,
yeah,
than like my other stuff sometimes. And that's, while frustrating, it's also like, no, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it, because some people are there like, I just want to talk to this guy. I don't really want to watch a game. I
let's just hang out.
Another first playthrough of Skyrim. Wow. Like And I'm like, no, but I've never played an Elder Scrolls. Like, can I convince you?
It's like, but I'm funny and I'm pretty.
I'm pretty silly. I don't know about the pretty part for me, but like I'd say I'm pretty silly. I could do silly voices. You know.
You do come here, please.
Come on down. And I think there's like that can trap us. Like,
absolutely.
A friend of mine who does Dead by Daylight, anytime she doesn't do Dead by Daylight, it's like it's like a massive drop.
Yeah, and that is such a niche too, and like there are hardcore Dead by Daylight people out there, and it's like it's hard to not stay in something that you don't like because it's making money.
Right.
Like that really is what it boils down for me.
Well, yeah, when it's your full-time gig, no doubt.
I hate to say that, like, because when I first started, I was like, I'm not gonna make money in object, like I'm not gonna make it, like I'm not gonna overly promote or like push. Not that I do that anyway now, but like I didn't want to like speak it. It was like Voldemort. It's like, don't talk about the money.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's how it was in traditional jobs, which I find very interesting and parallel of when the internet first started coming about, because now it's like if you don't talk about how much you're making at a job, it's like what are you even doing? You have to figure out what other people are making at the same job so you get a fair portion of the work that you're putting in.
Yeah, because especially if you're doing the same job.
Exactly. And for this space, it's super not like that. Like unless you're top tier Amaranth, Pokimane, like whoever else, if you just don't talk about it all that much. And then if you do, people are like, oh, so you're just in it for the money. And it's like, well, yeah, kind of. Like you're just in it for the money when you go and work your 9-to-5 job, aren't you?
I mean, I love what I do. As a therapist, I love what I do, but I'm not going to pretend that the money isn't part of it. You know, I'm not going to be like, I would do this for free, because I fucking wouldn't.
Nope. It's like exactly that. It's like, would you do that for free? Because that's when you become a content creator, even when you're first starting out, like you have to start from scratch, and it is going to take a long time to get going. Like you cannot, I feel like now you can't, unless you have immense support from family, housing, bills, you cannot just go into this being like, this is my full-time job now. It takes, you have to have another job to do this, to start out.
Yeah, like, and some people have that support. They have, you know, a partner that makes enough for both of them, whatever.
Right.
And that's great. We don't know everybody's family situations, and I think that also gets overlooked a lot of the time too. I talked about on stream. I was like, yeah, I went to the gym today and I walked the dog, and they're like, you can afford a gym membership and your dog, and I was like, what? Like
what? Yeah. Oh, I've had times like that too, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, I'm not flexing here. I'm.
It's like I just took my dog for a walk.
Yeah, like my dog is my dog, and he needs the walks because he's 9 months old.
Exactly.
And gets really pissy. I forget he's a puppy because he's so large. So I'm like, why aren't you understanding? And it's like, oh, because he's a freaking infant still.
Because you are a child.
Yeah, because he's a toddler, basically.
Well, they say that dogs have, at some point, certain breeds, have up to like a 5 to 7 year old brain capacity.
I don't think it's at 9 months old, though.
No. No.
But yeah, it's this like frustrating, like, well, we should talk a little bit about the money. You know, I don't say like, if someone's like 100 bits, I don't say thanks for the $1. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's like thank you for the biddies, or like a sub. It's like, hey, thanks for the whatever amount. You know, like, because ends up being like this weird.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, Jim was able to fork over $400, or like, and Lisa could only do $2. Shame on Lisa.
Wow, only 200 biddies?
I guess you don't like TRAV, Lisa. Like,
it looks like you're the asshole here.
Yeah, and it's like, I didn't.
Yeah, I want to like. I wish it wasn't such a taboo topic.
Yeah,
because it's this big struggle of like, I know that on my end I do this for fun. Mm-hmm. Like this is a fun hobby, and it's cool that people are wanting to support that. You know, because then I get to meet people, I get to make friends, etc., etc. All those really wholesome reasons that I promise aren't just like clout chasing or whatever.
Exactly.
But that's why I keep bringing up all your Instagram followers. No. Who? No.
Yes.
Blue check. I'm sorry. No, it's very.
Yeah, which is $14.99 a month.
Yeah,
by the way,
Instagram.
It's totally BS and doesn't even link to your Facebook page, which I think they need to change if I'm paying $14.99 for it. But that's my 2 cents. Zuck.
It's fine. Whatever.
Hate my time here, but all right.
No, there's and like you have to. I don't know. You have to kind of like. There's so many pieces of this that, if you talk about, it feels
grimy,
ungrateful. Like
yes,
and it's like no. I really do like this, but as a full-time creator, like you are, like I can only imagine that you're sitting there like, yeah, but I need this.
I need to buy groceries today.
Yeah, like I gotta feed my fucking kid, like.
So
and later on he's gonna be a teenager and have even more of an appetite.
Friends and
then the friends are gonna come over and eat an entire box of cereal. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Well, it's like I have I don't know, a little tangent to that is, so about 2 years ago, it's gonna get a little dark, but then it's gonna get better.
Okay.
Just as a heads up. A little over 2 years ago, my grandfather got diagnosed with like 5 different types of cancer. So he was like on death's door. And I was living in Missouri at the time. And my grandfather is one of the most influential people in my life. Like one of those like movie. I'm gonna brag about him a little bit.
Go for it.
He was a teacher in our hometown. He was the principal. He was the gym teacher for a little bit. He was the town like honorary mayor for a while.
Wow.
After he had heart surgery like forever ago, he went on walks, and what he would do around our small little town, because you could walk it.
Sure.
He would walk from his house to this local convenience store called Pickwick, and he would get his coffee. Then he'd chat with the coffee guy, and then he would go to the fire station, and then the police station, and the post office, and he would chit chat all the way through. So he was huge.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Oh, are you a Carrie?" And I'd be like, "Yep, that's what it is." And so he got terminally ill, and I needed to move back, and this was already my full-time job, and I
content creation
didn't yes
okay
and I didn't have the funds to move back, and so it felt weird, but I was like, here is my life story, essentially. Like, I want to keep this as a job, but I can't if I don't get back there, essentially.
Right.
And I did not like outright be like, you should give me money, but I let people know what was going on, and I was like, if you would like to help, like, here's where to do it.
Right.
And I'm back in Maine, so I thankfully, and like with the support of all of the community, I was able to come back. And he did pass. That's the sad part.
Right.
But I was able to be there for it because of the fantastic community that I have. And I felt like I could never repay the community enough because
Right.
of the financial support from them. So it's
Totally.
like so weird to be like, I really appreciate it. Like, I'm trying not to be emotional when I'm saying thank you on a video because you're like across the state.
Right. Totally.
Or like in another country. It's hard to be
Yeah.
genuine on the internet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that's so funny that you mentioned that. It's very we like we were talking about like this. How do you I was mostly making jokes about YouTube apologies, but like
Oh my gosh, yes.
because of the whole, Miranda
Yeah.
deal. But
I
like
know.
it's fine. I have no idea. I have
This
no
is peanuts.
self-awareness. Um no, there's like this there's very much like, how do you show how much you care, how much you love and
Mhm.
appreciate the people around you without just kind of sounding like every other like
Yeah.
kind of fake deal? Because it's like there's no way they're talking to me, right?
Yeah, well, it's like you can't, like, it's hard to mentally conceive someone being empathetic or sympathetic to you through nothing.
Right.
Like it's a screen, so it could be a picture. Everything we are told basically that nothing is real on the internet for the most part. Like everything could be faked. So when you get something that is genuine, it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. And I know that I've like we find like that because now we also have people who have faked it.
Yeah.
Who have faked it for such a long time. Like oh gosh, we were just talking about this too. It was this guy who pretended that he was paraplegic.
Yes.
Like, do you remember that?
Yeah. Are you talking about the guy that was on Twitch that like
Yeah.
he forgot to switch his camera over and he like stood up?
He just like stood up and walked out.
Yeah.
And then he came out and he was just like, yeah, it's fake. I can walk fine. I have no problems,
Yeah. That like
because that takes away from other people who are genuine and are just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all being here. It's why, like, I know that I say like thank you like a billion times at the end of stream.
Oh my god, me too.
Like, I'm trying to be like genuine, and then like somebody's gonna like fucking pretend to have a disability to like 2,000 plus people just to get their money, and then be like, sorry,
bye.
Sorry, thanks for the cash. I'm not refunding it. Like,
yeah, it sucks for the people that try and like do good on the internet.
Right. Oh, well, all you got to do is follow this little tip link. It'll go to me, and then I'm gonna donate it. Like,
yeah.
Like, come on, please.
It's like stop it.
And then and that puts a bad name for the people who like are genuine.
Yeah.
And the people who show like it puts a bad name in the content creation world.
Absolutely. We get a bad stigma because we can fake anything. We all must be faking something.
Everything.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's all.
Obviously.
I'm not trying to make a genuine connection here. Again, I'm just clout chasing, whatever it is.
It's like I actually like doing this. Like, I have met amazing people. I would have never, I made a post about it like a little while ago on Instagram. And I was like, I could never in my life as a child fathom that I could have a movie night with thousands of people across the world.
Right.
Like, that's crazy to me and so cool. And it's like, I want to foster a wholesome little part of the internet. Like,
sure, yeah. And a lot of us, I feel like a lot of people out there are really trying to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like, I just want to have a group of people, all of us together, that shows like that we are trying to just kind of be a good person.
Yeah.
And if I happen to also make some money while I'm doing that, then wonderful.
Then, well, because that's the new dream. I don't want to say the new American dream because that sounds weird to me for some reason. But like, I feel like that's the new thing is like, we all just want to be seen. We all want to be heard. Sometimes more so negatively than positively. Yeah. But like, we just want to be with people and be okay and like.
Right. I think there's like, we're showing at least a lot of the people that we know. I try not to associate with anybody who's like this like kind of piece of shit on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because that's a whole other realm, is like who you associate with now is like a reflection, obviously, on your character. So it's like you have to like fact check and like do your homework on people you even want to like collaborate with, because people can fake it and you don't want to be associated with, you know, I mean, look at Trisha Paytas and Miranda Sings. Like, Trisha Paytas is now sucked into this because she's associated with her.
I think she's also a sociopath, but that's,
yeah, I do too. My unprofessional opinion.
And even with my professional opinion, I'm not trying to diagnose. It's just very
in your face.
Yeah, very.
But that sings to that is her livelihood is now rocky because of who she knows and who she works with.
Right. Well, and people who work with her too, right?
Yeah.
The people
absolutely.
who edit or produce or whatever for her, now your name is now associated with that, and it's like, which is why, like, even for TravTalks, which I don't have this like ungodly wide audience, but I have enough people that I'm like, I don't want to like associate with the wrong person. I do a ton of homework. I do a lot of lurking and making sure that like,
absolutely,
not just using you as the example. Like I've lurked for your streams for a while, and it was like I didn't want to like all of a sudden be like, oh, turns out this person that I was gonna ask for TravTalks is wildly racist. Like
yeah, well, all right.
Like, oh, they play COD and then they get angry and that's like their personality, but they don't like, they send like the N-word in the chat box, and I don't think that's really all that cool. Oh, yeah. That's so funny because I this was like when I first started streaming with Tank Bros. I was trying to make connections and meet people and stuff like that, and this guy lost in like a Rainbow Six match or something like that, and then literally like on stream pulled up the chat thing and like messaged like the other person like, you're an N-word or whatever, and I was like, you're on stream, bro.
You can't do that. Yeah, I've had a couple experiences like that. Or like when I used to play Dead by Daylight a lot, I would bring followers on to play with me, and I would have them like in my Discord and stuff, which is very very tricky to do sometimes if they're not vetted. And I did not vet a couple people, and my stream not only tanked, but I was in a situation that I was like, how do I save this? Because do I like, because it wasn't N-word bad, but it was just like constantly talking over the stream, and like I didn't, like I said, like the chat obviously knows that like we're playing together and there's gonna be like comms, but like they just were constantly talking, and so it's hard to be like, sorry, but never again.
Well, and a big reason why I no longer do a ton of those and do this instead is we don't really talk over each other. Like, I know my ADHD will kick in every now and then, and I'll be like,
same. Big same.
But then I have to, like, this is so much more of a collaboration for me, even if it's one-on-one, and it's like, well, I don't have 4 people and all their audience. It's like, I'm not trying to audience suck people off here.
Yeah.
That came out wrong.
That's a really good way of saying it. Can I steal it?
Yeah. I'm not trying to audience siphon. I'm not trying to steal that or anything like that. If that connection grows, and I think that's awesome,
Absolutely.
How cool is that you now have like this connection here and you can, do this.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's
how cool would it be?
One
like,
of the things.
Yeah. Like an idea I had for like us, right? Was like,
Mhm.
oh, well, like, I don't know how many like I know that you do a lot of hosting stuff. You do like countdowns and like little behind the scenes stuff. And I was like, how cool
Yeah.
would it be? Like, I'm like, I'll go on to like her show and like kind of psychoanalyze a villain or something. Like, how that would be
That
kind
would
of
be
fun.
fun.
Right? I had like that idea, and then I was like, well, slow it down a little bit. So,
No, I get like that too, and I've been called like I don't know, like disingenuous, I guess, because I'm like, oh, we should like do this and this and this, and I'm like, I'm not trying to like cloud chase or like steal your people. I
Right.
find the experience of collaborating and doing stuff with you fun. So like, be my friend, please.
Yeah, listen, it's like connections can change so much in this game,
Yeah.
both negatively and positively.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've found that that is why I spend a lot of time vetting and making sure I'm talking to the right people.
But yeah, we totally should do that though. That would be really fun.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk details eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, and causing like, yeah, that genuineness is such like a hard thing to come across, because like, you're right, you can fake it, like,
yeah, like who's to say we are even here?
Right. Is this AI?
Well, like that, sorry, not to interrupt you. Like that guy that did some sort of, he said he was streaming and he pre-recorded a stream, did an unaliving of a person and used that as his alibi because he said, no, I wasn't there because look, I have evidence that I streamed, but it wasn't, it was pre-recorded and he didn't tell the people.
I'd never heard that.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
So it's like it's so hard to be like, I'm going to trust you.
Yeah. Oh, wild.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is so wild. Oh my gosh. A creative
You're gonna
alibi,
have to deep dive that.
Yeah, it's creative alibi, but ooh. Okay, I'm thinking we take a quick little break here.
Perfect.
5-ish minutes.
Sure.
You'll be muted, so you can come back whenever because I can still see you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all in just a few minutes. Get a snack, get comfy. We'll be back with a couple more, a little mother section, and then the Q&A. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon. That music back down so we can pop right back into this. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
How y'all doing?
Hopefully y'all peed.
I did. Thank you. It was lovely.
That's all you can hope for.
Well, I go through I go through so much liquid on this stream. Like
yeah.
I can't stop it.
I have Dennis Landry, is that his name, from Jurassic Park? Mm-hmm. I have his desk.
Oh.
Not with like the cigarettes or anything, just like bottles of drinks and like I have a sack of meat next to my desk.
You never know when you're gonna need a sack of meat.
I mean,
story of my life, jeez. But so there's just a little bit more on my little list here, and then I say we open it up to anybody who has questions, or
I would love that.
Obviously, if you have thoughts or questions, you are more than welcome to ask at any time, not just in the Q&A. Yeah. But the next kind of part, we were talking a lot about bringing in family and how your partner is also a streamer. I follow him on Instagram as well. And it's like, is it easy and or hard to like collaborate or even want to collaborate? Like I see you all the time.
It can be. I think more so for me than him. Mm-hmm. He has always been like, we should do this together. Mm-hmm. And we do now have House of Everlasting Shadow, and that's like our collaborative space.
Yes.
Because I, like we talked about earlier, have had an aversion to bringing like home life into things. Right. And my biggest thing was not necessarily because of like losing viewership or anything.
Sure.
It was more like my brand is very specific and it wouldn't necessarily make sense to like bring them on.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't want to not do this with you because we do game and stuff together, not on stream.
Right.
but I was like, I need for me a place that it lives.
Okay.
Basically.
Is that a pun, by the way?
Oh wow, no. That's really good. No, that was just
I thought that was on purpose.
no. Oh, that would have been so sorry. Yes, it was in fact on purpose.
Editor,
I
cut that
am
out.
very smart.
Just cut that part out.
But it is very hard because he did like take a hiatus of like pursuing streaming specifically. And was more of a stay-at-home dad so that I could get a foothold essentially.
Right.
And then once we I hate to say it, once we like got the flow of how everything goes for like my brand, then we brought him back on. And when we first attempted this, we did not have everything in a good flow for me. Like I was still having like really bad like ADHD bouts and like not being able to make this my job. So we struggled a lot and in that sense. So for a while he wasn't even back in it. It was about like 2 years basically.
Okay.
And then we kind of have things going how we need them to. It's not quite a well-oiled machine yet, but now he has like his channel, Immortal Griff, and then we have our co-streaming like power couple, House of Everlasting Shadow.
Yeah, because that like what came to mind originally when you said like that power couple deal was like Dead Meat, like channel Dead Meat.
Yes, Dead Meat is a fantastic example of a couple working and doing it together.
Right, and like I would wonder, because like I obviously love and care for my partner, but we work very differently, you know?
Yes.
We work way differently. She's very detail oriented and very like kind of like step by step.
By the books. Yeah.
Not a little less but like very step by step, you know?
Yeah.
And I am not.
Well, that sounds very much like me and my husband. We always say, well, that's us because we are the antithesis of opposite in the way that we do things. He's very macro and I'm very micro when it comes to dealing with things. And that has been one of our biggest hurdles is figuring out how do I work with you in a way that works for you? And then how do you work with me in a way that works for me? Because there have been so many times that he'd be like, all right, I have this idea for an emo or like something for you and I'm gonna like draw it up, but I want to know your input. And then I would like give my input, or he'd be like, I want you to work with me in tandem. And I'd be like, well, that's not quite right, or like that's not a thing. We literally had to like I was employing him, I had to write up, I didn't have to, this is just what we decided on that works best. I would write up what I would like in like a picture or an image, like the color scheme, as if I was going on Fiverr and doing it that way.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Because I have a way of taking over when I probably shouldn't.
Okay.
And in the creative process, a lot of the process is trust the process.
Sure.
And I get way too anxious and I'm like, I don't trust the process anymore. It's abort. And so we've had to learn how to work with each other and not take it personal and not let it bleed into our actual relationship, which is also incredibly hard.
Right. You know, like the way that like I see Dead Meat, you know, like they both have a podcast, but James does like the video, like the kill counts and like and they got their other like little things. Like I'm like, what? Like it's got to be so like, how do you like sit together and not talk about work? You know, like
it's so hard.
You know,
everything for a little bit, everything feels like work. even normal relationship interactions start to feel like work, or at least that's my experience. But I mean, I also had a ton of factors like mental health and like family and all of that stuff, which plays a huge part, and people don't talk about it enough of how much outside a real life influence has on what you put out if you're a content creator. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I mean that outside influence matters so much. I mean, not only just like when you're like doing like power couple stuff, but like the mental health piece of just like, man, I'm like not feeling it today. I just don't want to do this. But then it's like, but I this has been scheduled. Like if it's an event, you know, like,
oh my gosh, there have been so many times that I'm like, I just can't do it. And the times that I've been like that, my compromise like to myself has been like, I will hop on stream and be like, I can't do this. I love and appreciate all of you, but have a great day. Like that is my like way out for myself.
Sure.
I guess.
It's like, because I'm like, I did go live.
I did it. I stuck to the thing, but I didn't.
Right. That, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a way of doing it. I'm just like at everyone on Discord.
Yeah, well,
sorry, y'all, you know.
That works too. I mean, I've done that so many times. My consistency used to be so erratic and all over the place. I'd be like, "Hi, I know I said I was going to stream today, but guess what? It's moved to 2 days from now." Or like,
yeah. I mean, you know, we as content creators, I find that a lot of people try and do, either they preach it or they try to follow IRL over URL. And I feel like that's like this kind of tough, like you're either just not feeling it. If you've got a family, like that's another thing, right?
Yes. I have had many times where I had to be like, my son is sick. It's not going to happen today.
Yeah, or my son got me sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because kids are little petri dishes. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's frustrating, obviously, but it's like, well, that's how it goes. Love that kid. Hate when he brings
now
home.
I'm sick. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very like, you want to make sure that you're like IRL over URL, as like your online presence matters, but at the same time you're like, I'm human, man.
It's like I can't take putting on a show for someone. Like I just don't have it in me.
Well, I was sitting here thinking like last night when I was streaming Super Mario RPG, and I was like, all right, like what's a good stopping point, because I want to make sure that I get enough sleep for tomorrow's TravTalks, because it's kind of early. Well, early for me anyway. And like how do I like balance the two? And then and then we like kept going.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing I was gonna bring up. I was like, weren't you up until like 2?
I was like awake-ish until like 3. Hey, speaking of children. Speaking of children, hello.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
Oh.
We are almost done. That is fantastic.
That is so cool.
Trying to hide it from Uncle Henry and Dad.
Oh, okay.
That's my secret. For entertainment.
Sorry about that.
No, this is not the first time a child has come in on TravTalks. So that's amazing. Very cute. I hope he loves Spider-Man.
He did, yeah.
But yeah, we have our real lives that, you know, I have this much space for like the brain power. I was awake-ish until like 3.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm doing okay right now, you know.
I was gonna say, are you functioning right now?
Yeah, no, I feel pretty good. You know, waking up and taking a walk helped, you know.
Yeah, that definitely does.
Getting a little bit of this, you know, I'm sure this had something to do with it.
Oh yeah, my energy drink consumption is like at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's really bad, and I'm trying to not drink energy drinks, but like, where do you find the time to sleep?
I don't really like coffee, so like
I don't. Yeah.
Like I've tried it many different ways. And I'm always just like, but that tastes like coffee. And they're like, but no, they like threw like.
That's what it's supposed to.
And I'm like, but I don't want that.
Well, and like sometimes I don't want hot liquid in my mouth first thing in the morning.
Sure,
Like,
right? Take that however you want to. But like,
I
it's
don't.
very.
Well, that's protein. That's different.
That'll wake me up too.
That I will wake up.
I will be ready to go to the gym. It's very it's not. I know it's not good for me.
Yeah,
You know.
same. I can't.
I need it sometimes. And I mean, I can imagine as a mom, it's a whole second or third. I need this.
Because this is our full-time job, we wake up basically whenever he wakes up. So that could be anywhere between 4 and 7 in the morning.
Sounds like a 5-year-old.
So
yeah.
Then you have to like set him up and plan out who is going to be doing the big chunk of work first that day, because we like to cover each other with our son. So it's like one person will be working while the other person has quality time with him, and then we switch up. So it's like we could be going from anywhere between 4 till way after he goes to bed, because we need time as a married couple to have together. Like that needs to flourish and function. And it's like
time, right?
That only happens after 8 or 9 o'clock, and then it's you only have this much time until he wakes up again. So it's like
man, like, and you like that balance. And I talked about this with the other mom I've had on TravTalks, is very like finding that balance. And luckily it sounds like both of you have like really good support with each other.
We try. I'm not gonna lie, it has been hard, because it's hard to not feel resentful sometimes, like if someone has like a bigger project to work on and it's like, well, now I'm like full-time parent and like you've gotten more time away, and it's like I want a little time away too.
Sure.
So it can be hard.
Again, like, and it's like the whole, like, I talk about it with parents all the time. It's like, it's not that I don't like my kid.
Yeah.
Or I don't love them. It's I gotta have some space though.
I need to be an adult for a little bit.
I need to be an adult and not a adult with child. Right?
Yes.
Let me go, and sometimes you can rely on family. Some people can't.
Yeah. Oh, some of the family members that are very supportive, but they are in other states. So there's not I can just fall back on, Papa and Nana, or like I don't like it's hard to relate how much time and how little support all of this takes. Like being a mom, being a power couple, having your person be also in the sphere, and then having zero, I don't want to say zero support, because that, I have support, but it's very few and far between.
Sure. It's different.
People don't realize how, like, this may sound I don't know what it is about myself. I like to pat myself on the back for how much I get accomplished for how little I have for support. And like, if people knew what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, I think the perception would be a little bit different. And I don't think I would get as many like, your dad would be proud of you type of thing. Like, I bet your dad's proud. You're just shaking your body, like, type of thing. And it's like, no, I'm not, but cool beans. It's like, I'm glad that I got even this out today with all of the crap that I was dealing with before this.
Right. Right. And obviously,
that's my violin song.
I'm so tired. It's very I work for Phoenix. It's very like no, there's you have to be able to balance those things, and getting that support can be really hard to come by, right? Could I like, my sister will drop off my niece here every so often and be like, I just need to go to like Target, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. And that makes the whole week. Like, that may seem so crazy to some people, but like
Right.
sometimes all you need is that to make it through the rest of the day or the rest of the week. And it's like, I got away for 20 minutes. I am a new woman.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. I know I was angry mom before, but now we can cuddle.
Yeah. She's like, I got to listen to my music in the car. I got to, you know, I didn't have to listen to my niece is currently in her Nightmare Before Christmas phase.
Oh gosh.
Which I love, don't get me wrong, but you know, I can only watch it so many times.
So many times, yeah. Oh, my son is a big rewatcher of movies, so I've seen plenty of movies on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, my son likes to listen to the same music that I do, so
that helps.
He's a little metalhead.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Me too. Although I'm not very small, but anyway.
Well.
That world of like, my sister will be like, I just need to go to the grocery store. Can you take her for an hour? And I'll be back, and I'll be a brand new Pierce, because she like goes and she like gets coffee and just like listens to music, whatever she does.
Yeah, sits in the car for 20 minutes just looking off into space.
She's done that.
Yeah.
She's like, I went and sat in the parking lot for a while. It was like, cool. Cool, do that. As long as you feel like refreshed and ready to go. Because I don't mind hanging out with my niece, because I can give it back.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's the key. Children are great if you can give them back.
I'm like, all right. Good. Here you go.
And I'm done.
Yeah, I gave her goldfish. She's good to go. That big, carton thing of goldfish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My son lives on that, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, every she knows where it is and everything. Like, she's she's very aware of where that is in my pantry. But yeah, so we there's something about that balance that it sounds like you have been worked on, and I love what you said earlier about it being like almost a constant conversation between you and your partner. Like, that communication is so big. You're like, listen, I've got this collaboration coming up. We scheduled it. Can you take child for this long? We can either swap out or, have lunch together after, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess early dinner for you? I don't know. But like,
old people dinner.
Old people dinner, right. Denny's dinner. Yeah, that constant communication of, hey, this is what's going on for me, what's going on for you, how can we make that work?
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that you and your partner have found a good flow.
Yeah,
I'm sure comes with bumps, I'm sure comes
sometimes the biggest bumps.
Right. I've talked about this with my chat before, but one of the biggest hurdles that I came across with my partner was how to argue. Yes. And
I didn't know how to argue or communicate for like the longest time.
Yeah, like communication, I can communicate, but like arguing, like for her growing up, it was whoever was the loudest one.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was shut up and take my yelling.
Yep.
So like I would shrink down into this little tiny ball and just listen and just kind of like take my verbal whipping or whatever.
Yep.
But for her, she felt like unheard. So she would just get loud.
We're yelling back at her. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to shrink more. And it was this really weird, like, how do we like balance this? Because if you're up here and I'm way down here, we have to like at least come close.
Yeah. Like there has to be some sort of middle ground.
Yeah. So like a lot of the time, we make sure that we're arguing in a certain space. We have time. We've time limit ourselves. Yep. If this argument goes for however long, we either got to take a break or come back to it later or whatever.
Yep. Oh, we've had so many talks of like, okay, when I say I need to take a pause or I need to walk away, it's not because I don't love you or it's not because I don't want to listen to you. It's because I know I can't properly regulate and I'm going to freak out on you and I don't want to
Right.
do that.
I'm gonna say some things that I don't mean,
Yeah,
and I'm
because
not happy about.
I can definitely be like outburstful
Yeah,
sometimes, and that's not always great.
right. I mean, we learn that like through, I mean, trial and error for sure.
Yeah,
Trial and error of like, again, like her going way up here and me being way down here, and like, why aren't we connecting?
exactly. Because then it goes into everywhere else in your life. Like it bleeds through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I found that it's a very, I'll tell couples that like learn how to argue so that that your arguments don't like feel like this world-ending thing,
Mm-hmm.
because arguments don't happen so often. They're very like uh they're very like here-ish, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like life generally is pretty up and down, kind of around this baseline. But when arguments
Absolutely.
happen, you know, they kind of go up and like way up and down. But they can be world-ending if you're always kind of like right here on this baseline.
Absolutely.
If
Because
you-
every
yeah,
argument is life or death.
yeah, and
Like,
it shouldn't feel like that
no.
if you know how to properly communicate and argue with one another.
Yeah, you have to. I've realized to take myself out of things. I was definitely very, even in arguing, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, I literally just tried to make this about me the entire time. And
Yeah,
it's like when you argue, not only do you have to like listen to like listen and not listen to respond, because
right.
I would listen to respond,
Totally.
and that doesn't always work and shouldn't always work. um
No.
so it you definitely have to take yourself out of the argument, and that can be incredibly hard and is definitely something that I've been working on.
No doubt.
Sure.
It's wildly hard. Yeah. I had and have sometimes that same issue.
Mm-hmm.
Uh for various reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That I don't know that we got time for today.
Right, that's another one.
Yeah, but my therapy was on Tuesday, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's next week's problem. So yeah, well, first off, I want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I've had a pleasure, you know, learning more about you. Not that I haven't been like sort of stalking a little bit, but
No,
like,
yeah. I do the same thing whenever I do a collaboration with something. I'm like scouring everything. I'm like, how deep can I go?
yeah,
How far can I look back at your stuff? Like,
pretty far. I mean, it's all there. I put it out there all the time. I'm like, yeah, check out those socials right there. Isn't that cool?
yeah.
Yeah. So there's something to be said for, I want to give you this chance for a little bit of self promo. A little bit of self promo. That right there that I just posted is Nuggs Linktree. So make sure to check that out. And like, we're not gonna ban you for self promo here. Like hit us with what you got. What's like your elevator speech?
I've never really had an elevator speech, to be honest.
All right, we're making it up
But
as we go.
if you like horror, boobs, and a really good community that takes mental health into consideration, that's what we got here. And all my links are down there.
In that link tree, it's got
or over there.
all the things. Yeah, depending on where you are. If you're on the phone or whatever. Yeah, it's got all the stuff. It's got the Instagram. It's got
OnlyFans. It's got Discord. I think. I hope it's got all
TikTok,
that
YouTube.
stuff. Yeah.
Even a wish list.
Oh yeah, my wish list.
It's all on there.
Everything you could ever hope for. And more.
And more.
That's where you can find me.
You can find anything there. My dad
like,
was on there. It was wild.
Exactly.
I found him.
Dads really like it.
So I want to open it up for the Q&A part of the session. So to anybody in chat who has questions for Nuggs, for me, both of us, feel free to ask them. And even if they're related to what we're talking about, not related to what we're talking about, kind of anything you want. I mean, y'all know the rules. You know, we're not gonna.
You know the things.
Let's not get weird. But we can ask some weird questions.
Yeah, I'm like a complete open book. So like if you have any questions on like what it takes to do OnlyFans, if that's something that you've been interested in, or like what I do, or like what, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I do on Instagram, or what I stream.
Yeah.
Or what it's like in Maine.
If you really want to know.
If you really want to know. Stephen King is my god uncle, and we all worship him, and he's our main deity.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Well, now he's a good guy.
Now he's a good guy.
He's, clean or whatever, I think.
Honestly, who knows? I would,
I don't know.
He's very nice, and his son writes great books. So
his kid writes books?
Joe Hill. Yeah, that's his son.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Joe Hill. So he did Horns and with Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, Horns is a hard watch kind of near the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Joe
know.
Hill, if you want to know, Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, and he has comics and books and all movies now.
I didn't know that.
He and Stephen King did a movie together, a book together, about like the tall grass or something. It was on Netflix a while ago.
Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, I've seen it.
Catcher in the Rye.
No.
I don't know. It was about spooky grass. And
that sounds like such a Stephen King thing. Ooh, spooky grass.
The tall grass by the road. But it's actually a really good movie.
So Aaron asked, I know your kid is pretty young, but how aware is he of your stuff, like streaming OnlyFans and everything?
So he doesn't know about OnlyFans, obviously, because he's 5. But he does know that I do spooky jobs. I work in horror is basically what I am. He's been on my husband's stream, so like he likes being in front of the camera. I don't push at all doing this on him, and I never ever will, because children end up getting hurt that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always tried to, if he seems interested in like making monster movies, that's his big thing right now, because he's super into monsters, like Ben 10 and all that stuff. He
cool.
also knows a lot of SCPs, and sure. I regret that a little bit. But he knows what I do, that I'm on camera and I perform for a job.
Yeah.
And I've gotten lucky with, if I need to do OnlyFans Phoenix, I'm like, oh, you can't be in this room because I have to do horror work. I'm doing work that's really scary, so you can't be in this room.
Right.
If I have to do something, if he's here.
Right.
Obviously not anywhere that he can listen, see, walk in, barge on. Just want to make them very, very clear.
Right.
But I'm lucky in that I can be like, this is scary. You can't do it.
This is extra scary. It's like when you tell the kids that it's too spicy, everything.
Yes. Yep. This is actually too spicy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you'd hate it. It's spicy.
But yeah, so he has a general knowledge of like what he has his favorite YouTubers already. So like you can't hide kids from the internet, but I'm a huge proponent of being internet savvy and internet safe, and really being honest that there are bad things on the internet and everyone could be out to get you, but if you do your work and you put your time into it, you can find really, really great communities. And I mean, obviously he's 5 and that,
sure,
but
yeah,
obviously I describe it in a way for a child.
Yeah. Yeah, and YouTube has a cool kids function too. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's the parental controls I've seen on YouTube are actually like pretty good. Like when you upload now, like whenever I upload, you have to say like this is made for kids. It's not made for kids. So like I'm not gonna show up on YouTube Kids, and that's good.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Give me what is the worst slasher? Like who's the worst in your opinion?
Ooh.
Like not like evil worst, talking like oh that's just lame.
Like bad.
Like that's just lame.
Honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of hate. This is going to be a very controversial take.
Okay, hit me.
And you will only hear it here, because I feel like if I say it too much, I'm gonna invoke the internet laws on me. I think Ghostface is a lame killer.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
It's always someone's friend, uncle, mother, brother.
Sure.
It's always roughly the same type of kill. I mean, with this new one, he is in the big city, you know,
taking Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. And like they somewhat successfully made that transition, depending on who you are. But yeah, I think he just feels like a normal. I don't know. There's no allure for me. I want something a little. Is he undead? Is he not?
Oh,
it's always, you know, he's George from next door.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense. You're like, I don't, it's less the mystery. I want that supernatural a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
Jason
fits that bill for sure.
Well, even Michael Myers, or because you could say, especially with this last one, that evil went into what's his face, and that's the spirit of Michael Myers.
Right.
Went into Corey. Was that his name? I don't know.
I don't remember.
He doesn't matter.
Nah. I don't really remember.
But yeah, who's your dumbest slasher?
They're all pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Let's see here. I think Art the Clown has a really good way of going up still. Like he's kind of trending up. Because they can make it goofy too.
Yes.
Like horribly gory sometimes, but also really goofy and silly.
Well, it's like a fun gore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's like goofy about it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
It's okay if you don't have one. That's fine.
Well, I think early on Freddy was really cool.
Yeah, he's not so much now.
And then they kind of made him like they keep making him like weaker almost.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be a problem with like rebooting or redoing stuff, is like they don't give the thing its full potential.
Yeah.
I mean, you get that even with like Marvel movies, like Colossus, when he was in Deadpool, his powers were like way pushed back than what they actually are.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like, well, Freddy is kind of a joke now, literally.
Yeah. They made him kind of weak and pathetic almost. Like you can like outrun Dream Freddy, and that doesn't make any sense, you know, like
yeah, like he should be able to be like, Rich, no.
Yeah, exactly. He just kind of pops up wherever he wants to. Like that's kind of his thing. And it's like, no, you can, if you just keep running,
you'll outrun him.
He'll keep walking slowly behind you. And it's like, well, I get that that's like the kind of like a slasher trope, but also it's kind of,
but that's not his thing. And
that's his thing. And I don't know. They've made him more lame.
Because
the early stuff I really like.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what is your For You page look like on TikTok? Like, what is your For You page?
So, a lot of Broadway. a lot
Yeah.
of
Okay.
Broadway horror and gaming are like the top 3.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a huge musical theater nerd.
So is it a lot of Sweeney Todd right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Josh Groban's doing.
It's just yeah.
Yeah. I hear it from my partner's friggin' TikTok. Like,
I know.
Like I just hear it all the time.
It's constant. Some of these like earworms, I'm just like, okay, enough, please.
Yeah. Anything else?
But yeah, what does your For You page look like?
My For You page is some Twitch streamers, and I joke about it, but like Twitch streamers have like maybe 4 jokes, and I'm really gonna need y'all to like step it up.
It's true.
Like, get some like, they use the same joke but for like with different sounds, and I'm like, y'all, please,
it's the same thing.
Please.
Let's be a little more creative here.
Like, if you're in a creative field, I just need you to be a touch, like, just make it your own. Even like I saw like 2 posts in a row that were the same joke, same sound, and like almost word for word, and I was like, y'all.
Yeah, I never understood that. And that's definitely something that I've had a problem with, because I've had a problem with like, what is the point of this? Like, I have to have a point if I'm gonna post it. And it's like, no, I don't technically have to have a point.
Nope.
Because people will just watch and accept me going like this for 2 minutes. Like,
just consuming.
So it's like, I definitely have had a hard, like, I've definitely stopped myself from putting something out there because I was like, there's no point to that.
Sure.
Type of deal.
Yeah. The other parts are ever since I found Barbie, I don't know if you know who that is, but yeah. It's like I get a ton more goth mommies, and I'm like fucking for it. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm like, this is awesome. And then I get like a good amount of just like sketch comedy and stuff like that, which is really nice. Because thankfully TikTok has moved me off of like straight white guy comedy, which sucks.
That does suck when you're there.
It's so bad, and it's all just like misogynistic and terrible.
It's kind of the same thing.
Again, yeah, the same joke, which is just hate wife. You know, like it's not fucking funny. Like, it's not funny to hate your partner.
You're not supposed to hate your partner. Like, that's not normal.
It's not good.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So that's a lot of what mine is. I would say is I get some goth mommies, I get the sketch comedy, I get the gaming and gamers, and then just kind of general nerdy culture, I guess. Like, yeah. But sometimes it's like so deep into the nerd culture that I'm like, I'm not there.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have the time to put into this.
They're like, don't like check out Nighthawk. And I'm like, who? You know, like
what?
And they're like, it's this D-list Marvel superhero that no one's ever heard of. You know how everyone was like, who? When Moon Knight came out? Yeah, like think that, but like below that.
Below, 4 tiers below that.
And I'm like, oh. Yeah, I don't know who that is, so.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Sorry, bud.
What's the comfort movie that is not a horror movie?
The Holiday.
Really?
with Cameron Diaz and Jack Black.
Oh no.
And Little Women.
Okay, that one's a little more understandable.
The 90s was Susan Sarandon. That one, not the new one.
I think that one's in the 90s. I think, or late 80s or something. But
The Holiday.
The Holiday. Where like
it's so good.
Nobody has chemistry in that movie.
No, but it's so good.
It's not.
It's so bad. It's got Kate Winslet, Jack Black, Cameron Diaz, that guy that's British and is in things that I don't know his name.
Hugh Grant, right?
No, not Hugh Grant. The other one.
See, because nobody has chemistry. I can't remember.
No, because he's got the same square British face that all of them have. I don't know what they are. I can't remember his name. I know, me either. But yeah, The Holiday.
Wow. Oh, none of those guys are, it's like a job for them. Jude Law, thank you. It's like yeah, they like, it's like a job for them. They're like, yeah, I guess I'll kiss each
It's
other.
like, this is our rom-com. It's like, that was their kiss.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh.
At least you had some gum earlier.
Yeah. Thank God you didn't have onions today.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh man, that's wild.
So I didn't think that was going to be that much of a surprise.
Well,
it's one of the worst movies ever.
Because it's just not. Well, no, it's not the worst movie ever, but it's not. It's not a good movie.
No, it's not. Starship Troopers is also a comfort movie.
I do like Starship Troopers.
Point Break.
Oh, Keanu. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Keanu fan. He's great.
Are we standing on Problematic King? So.
Exactly. I think that's really it.
Some good comfort ones, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I like Point Break. Well, I haven't seen Point Break more than once, so it's been a while.
It also has Lori Petty in it, and she's hot in that movie.
I get you.
I need to rewatch Tank Girl. Because she's in that too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she is Tank Girl.
Fair enough. I don't think I've seen Tank Girl.
It's really good. It's also based on a comic, and the comic is great.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar.
Well, there is a humanoid kangaroo character, so that makes sense that it wouldn't.
Okay.
Think Mad Max in the 90s, but not Mad Max.
Okay.
With an humanoid kangaroo character. It sounds better than the way that I am describing it right now.
It's like, I don't know, Nuggs. You're not really selling it to me.
It's like this really bad movie that pretty much everyone hates, but it's so good.
You'll love it. Everybody hates it.
Exactly.
No, there's this movie that's really cute, and it's Santa's Little Helpers, and it's 3 ferrets. And it's just this movie about 3 ferrets who apparently help Santa out, and it's really cute.
That's so cute.
And every time I watch it during Christmas time, I'm always just like, that made me feel good.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah, because we have we had 3 ferrets. We have 2 ferrets now. Otto and Ziggy.
That's so adorable.
They're chilling downstairs. They sleep for 20 plus hours a day. So
Yeah.
What a life, huh?
I wish.
What's that
I love
like?
sleep.
What's that like?
Exactly.
No rent. Eat.
Yeah, getting fed.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about it.
Nope. They don't even I don't even think they care that I'm the one providing all of that.
Ungrateful.
I know.
Start charging them rent.
I should. I'd be like, yo, it's the first, y'all.
Do some tricks.
Do I need... At least let me scratch your belly.
Yeah.
Without
attacking you.
Without attacking my fingers. They know how to play bite. That's pretty,
That's adorable.
Yeah, I love them. They're very cute. Yeah, and yeah, if I film them, they're good content. So
that's also true. Get it where you can, man.
Listen, anything can be content. I just gotta film it.
Exactly.
What is the most monotonous part about being a content creator for you? Something that you're just dread doing, but you have to.
Organizing how where all the stuff is.
Okay.
Getting together the tripod and the costuming and then
the physical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to tell me what to do, when to do it, and I'll do it really great.
Yeah. Put this
and
on, cameras in that room.
Yeah. And I like coming up with the ideas and being creative, but some of the actual just doing it, someone else, please.
That's fair. Yeah, I've found that I don't know. It's a weird, because there are times when I love filming TikToks and other times I'm like, ugh.
I just don't. Yeah.
And I batch record, so like I don't do like some of these people who like put out like 3 TikToks a day.
Ugh.
Which
what?
You know?
I barely get out one like a month now.
It's wild. It's like, why are you doing that? You know?
Yeah, you definitely have to be like, how much work am I putting into it to how much I'm getting back from it? Like,
right?
What's the disparity there?
Yeah. So I spend like an hour-ish batch recording and make like a bunch,
and
then have like 2 weeks worth ish of content where I can just and just post like 1 a day.
Absolutely. That is how it should be. And that's what I'm trying to like slowly move my life into, is like scheduling things and like back recording and all of that stuff.
It's hard though. Like they're like,
it's so hard.
Because now I gotta like, if I miss a certain trending sound or something.
Yep.
But if I don't post it at the right time, or if I, whatever, you're like, ugh. Well,
it's like, I just want it out so I don't have to deal with it anymore. I did it. I'm done.
It is out there. It's out there. Please like it. Whatever. Like it, comments on it, help the algorithm a little. Which apparently keeps, I learned this recently, it continues to change. It changes almost weekly.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah.
It's one of the downfalls of this industry is it would be extremely helpful for everyone, companies included, if there was one way that it goes.
Right.
Forever.
If we could just know what you're going to push.
Let me make the thing and then get it out.
And then I'll put it out there so that you can do what you want with it.
Yeah, now you put it out.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the frustrating part, because then you're like, how do I figure out the timing for this?
Yeah. Well, it's like on one platform, my community is more active at like noon my time. And then like on another platform, it's like 2 a.m. So it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, plus like your real life.
Yeah. Well, like when am I going to do that?
I can't just like, when I'm working my 40, I can't just stream in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
Like I'm on summer break, so I can kind of mix it up a little bit. But like most of the time it's nighttime.
Well, and then it's hard because of the summer break. You're like, all right, I can do this and this. And then when work starts back up, it's like, oh, he's not on anymore. Like, I thought he was like, this is what he does type of deal.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating.
No, I gotta. It's not how it works. If there are any other last minute questions from the audience, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to hear them again. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say Nuggs' favorite color is red.
It is.
Good, me too.
That's my favorite color. What's your favorite animal?
Fox.
Me too.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's foxes.
Foxes, giraffes, pangolins are my top 3.
Cool. Giraffes are cool.
Giraffes are dope.
I kind of fall into the lion. The lion realm. I like lions a lot.
Cool.
I like their big paws. Something about like these massive
so like
paws.
tigers are like your jam.
Yeah, those are cute.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're massive. And then I mean I like wolves too. Like wolves.
Wolves are pretty cool.
I get the symbology. Yeah, but it's kind of a basic bitch answer, but I kind of like it, But foxes is number 1. I have a few fox stuffed animals downstairs. And
me too. It's always been a cosplay I wanted to do. It's just a fox.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. And fun fact about foxes, they are domesticating themselves now. They are purposefully trying to be our pet now.
Have you watched like Juniper and stuff like that? Like
yes.
Yeah. I do. I like that creator because she's very also real about it. She's very like, because she's like, yeah, like obviously we play and she's always really cute. But then she's like, but look at my arm scars.
Yeah, like, my arm is shredded. She is a wild animal.
She's still an animal with very sharp teeth, you know?
Exactly. Capybaras are seals? Capybaras over seals. For me. Capybaras are the chillest freaking animal. They chill with crocodiles, piranhas, like buffalo.
They are pretty chill, but seals do this thing. And that's cute.
Yeah, but also lion seals, they are terrifying. They got giant little teeth things. And
Well, any animal could bite you, you know?
Yeah, but seals are mean.
Not when you're feeding them anchovies.
That's true. Then you're their best friend.
Yeah, there's like this aquarium down in Oregon on the coast, and you can feed them. And they all do, like, they know when they're getting like tricks and stuff, so they'll do like their little spin tricks, or they'll do the thing where they're like they like hit themselves, or yeah, or one just yells. Just like, just like, but like 30-second yell, and it's like, damn man, that's some lung capacity.
Well, they can stay underwater for like 10 minutes or whatever.
Exactly. Like, so he just takes a deep breath in and is just like, feed me. I'm gonna go with seals. I'm gonna go seals on that one. Capybaras are cute, don't get me wrong, but
they're just giant guinea pigs.
Yeah, it's true. Question for both streamers. Hypothetically, what's the toughest animal you could handle in a one-on-one unarmed fight?
Bear.
You could take a bear?
Oh, that I could take?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought one-on-one. I thought you meant that I couldn't take. Like, what is the animal that you couldn't? I misheard. That I could take? A dog?
I could fight a dog.
I could fight a dog.
That's tough. I think
a manatee? Not that I would hurt them, but I can breathe air and they can't.
I was thinking like those big like mountain goat type things. Probably take one of those guys down. I'm a bigger person than you, so I think
that's true. Yeah. I was just thinking horns, like the gorging would.
No, but that's also how you control them.
Yeah, they would be a lot easier to control.
They fight with their horns, but they don't like grab horns. I can grab horns.
That's smart. Yeah, that's a really good answer.
Yeah,
like mountain goats.
I can grab them and probably just kind of hold them down, whatever.
Maneuver them.
Yeah.
I could fight a goat.
Like, I don't think I could handle like a bull. You know,
not that you can see it.
Just out here, just straight flexing. Yeah. No, I don't think that I don't think I can handle like a bull, right?
No, yeah.
But I think I could. I think I can handle like a big mountain goat. You know.
Yeah.
Those big like Arctic fuckers. You know.
Yeah. Also, yeah, manatees do breathe air. You definitely got me on that. Mostly, I meant like they can't survive out of water for too long.
True. No, they like to do their thing.
So I figured my chances with the manatee if I just hauled them in.
But you can't hold your breath as long as they can.
No, I would physically haul them onto the land if I were to fight them.
Like you'd make sure that they just.
I would beach them.
I get you. Okay.
That sounds so terrible out of context.
I just bring them to like Death Valley and like they're just
Yeah.
Where are they gonna go?
Exactly.
I wanted to ask, if someone wanting to get into streaming, is there any advice you could give them about to give them to start up? Also, what are some things to avoid when setting up? I have my answers for this, but I'll let you start.
Good lighting, I've noticed, has been something that is really important. Knowing that it is going to take a while to start to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest blow that I experienced, because I was like, oh, woman on the internet, I'll be rolling in the views and stuff. That is not how it is.
No.
At all. And figuring out if you want to be a personality streamer, if you want to be a very niche streamer, if you want to be on camera at all, those are very important things to really ask yourself, because you are going to dedicate a ton of time into this. So what can you mentally and physically handle? Because being on camera, even if it's like this, is still like you're taking energy out to be on camera.
Yeah.
And then do it because you like it. Try not to have the views and all that stuff way too heavily at first.
Right.
Because it's not going to happen right away. As doomsday as that sounds, it's one of the harsh realities. A lot of people quit because they don't push through, or sometimes they don't have the support to be able to push through that.
Right.
So you also have to know, can you sustain this, and what could you actually do?
I like that advice. What can you actually do?
What can you actually do?
Yeah, I like that. My advice are one thing is you don't have to have like the highest quality mic or anything like that. You don't have to have like a $200-$300 mic. Because any mic can sound like garbage.
Absolutely.
Because Twitch is a second screen application, like I call it, people throw it on their other screen while they game or, whatever. Yeah. Or, being on Discord, whatever. They throw it on the side. So a lot of the times they're not really watching, they are listening. So I think getting good at setting up audio. And there's a million tutorials on YouTube. Like, don't pay someone to help you set up your fucking audio. Like, YouTube
Do
it.
YouTube school.
YouTube it. Find a tutorial that helps you set up. And you can do a lot of this in OBS or Slobs. Or you can also do like Voicemeeter Banana, like a cheap audio interface. Like, you can
I've used that
stuff
before.
Yeah, I decided to set it up all kind of through OBS, but I'm thinking
That's
about adding it back to Voicemeeter because like it has more options.
It does.
But like, options.
If this puts it in a frame of reference, when I first started this, I started streaming out of a probably should be condemned barn with dirty power and a blue sheet behind me with the basic mic and camera that I could find at my local small town Maine Staples.
Right.
So like, if you can get those things, the basic stuff, as long as you make it fake it till you make it type of deal, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah. I'd say worry less about the camera. You know, you don't have to have a top of the line Go XLR type camera. Well, Go
I'm using my phone right now.
Perfect example, right? Like, you don't have to have the tops camera, because a lot of applications can also, you can mess with lighting, brightness, contrast, all that stuff to make it so it looks a whole lot better than it can actually produce normally.
Absolutely.
On default settings, this camera kind of doesn't look that great.
Oh, my default settings of my even this camera on my phone is like, you wouldn't be able to see me. It would be fuzzy and like.
Right. So yeah, those are the things that I would pay attention to, and things to avoid. I would avoid follow for follow.
Absolutely. Don't do that.
Follow for follow gets you follow numbers, but does not get you viewers.
Nope.
So don't follow, like, it's the same thing, but people will be like, it's not follow for follow, it's support for support. It's the same fucking thing.
It's the same thing. I'm all about supporting other creators, but you need to do it in a collaborative way for it to work.
Well,
the way you want it to.
There's a lot of different ways to market yourself and to like get your name out there, and kind of have that like part of you that goes, oh, I'm learning more about how to get myself out there. Just like talking in chat, is a way to get your name literally to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that, that can be a good way to start.
Absolutely.
Talking with other people in the chat, but at the same time, you can use other socials. You can use TikTok, YouTube. I had someone come in from my YouTube just the other day. They were like, I saw one of your YouTube shorts and was like, I should check out a stream. And I was like, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That may sound really overwhelming, especially when you first start out.
Mm-hmm.
What I've found is pick a primary platform, but don't make it your only platform.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. I like Twitch a lot. So I use it like as like the primary like content creation thing. Because you can take clips and throw those on TikTok and throw them on YouTube and be like, there you go. It's just
there's a snippet.
There's a snippet of what you're gonna see if you go over here. There was a study done that it's like what was it, like 8 or 9% of people are not gonna leave the site they're on to go to another one for you.
Yes.
It's like or like most people aren't going to. It's like such a small number that will.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put a bunch of effort into TikTok and then you're like, why is no one showing up for my stream? It's because they're on TikTok.
They're not, that's their brand loyalty.
Yeah. And that's fine if that is your other thing, right? Because like, I can't remember his name. It's like Harry or something. Harry the cowboy or something. He goes like the what guy? He's that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he streams on Twitch, but he's got like 2 million followers or whatever on TikTok. But he has like 30 people in his stream.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't correlate a lot of the time.
It does not connect. He's even like, hey, I'm live on Twitch right now. Come and see me or whatever. He does the right stuff, but people don't click over.
They want the couple seconds or like under a minute.
Yeah.
They don't want to
long form versus short form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the idea of not putting all your eggs in one basket. Diversify a little bit, but don't stretch yourself so thin that you're like, okay, well, I put out a short today and now I got to put out a reel. So I got to film a reel, but I also got to film a TikTok. Like I fucking reuse that shit. Literally,
same thing on every platform.
Literally reuse that shit like
all the time.
I post them like different days sometimes or whatever, but like literally reuse it constantly. Like
if I post something on Instagram, it automatically goes to my Facebook, and then I post it literally within the same hour on TikTok and whatever else. Like it's the same thing. You get this on every platform.
Yeah, just start there. That's another thing. Because at one point I was spreading myself really thin. Like it's like, well, I can't just like throw my TikToks on Instagram. And then a friend of mine was like, why not? And I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
Do that. I know. I was the same way. I was like, they can't be the same, because if they're the same, then they're going to be like, oh, you don't put enough effort into your job type of deal. And it's like, no, I just don't have time. Like,
nobody has time. Nobody has enough time to create 3 different short form things and then stream.
Unless you have a team, which I touched on earlier, is like once you get to a certain point, you have the luxury of being able to pay people to do that for you.
So yeah, sometimes, right? And not everybody can afford that, right? Like editing is a art and deserves to be paid properly.
Absolutely.
And something I don't know how to do or have time for, because editing takes fucking forever. So yeah, like reuse your shit. Like just do it.
Absolutely.
I don't like you're gonna see some of the clips on YouTube before you see them on TikTok, maybe. Or you might see them on TikTok before you see them on YouTube. Just reuse that shit. Does not matter. Yeah. Thank you for all your questions. If someone asks in chat if you want to be famous, they are not your friend. No, they are not your friend.
That's true. Yeah, that's spam.
Yeah, that's it. Don't follow that link. As much as I would love to tell you that they are really trying to help you out, they're not.
They're not.
And that sucks because
Also,
I'd love to be famous.
If you're doing Phoenix, and immediately someone comes up and is like, "Oh, do you need like a promoter or like someone to run this for you?" Don't do it.
No.
Do not. Bad idea. Worst idea ever. Don't do it.
No. Not worth it. Not worth the time and effort to collaborate with somebody who's usually so far away.
Yeah. Well, and if they're in your vicinity, a lot of the time they just take over your stuff and then you have to start from square one.
Right.
In 6 months because you guys have a falling out because they don't actually care about what you're doing.
Or you had to give them all your passwords and shit and they took all your shit.
Yeah, that's also fun.
So. Not
that I've personally experienced that, but I have known people that were like, "Oh, this person wants to be like they're really gonna help me out," and I'm like, "No, so sorry, they're not.
They're not. I hate to tell you.
Really, really not. If someone actually wants to help you, they're not going to be like, "Do you need a promoter?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, what?" Usually, there's someone that you know. And they're like, "Can I shut you out?" Like,
or let me help you, or you know, they'll give you better reasons.
Yeah.
More
or
than just
in my case, it's like, "Hey, do you want me to watch your son for a day so you can get a bunch of content done?" And I'm like, "Yes." You don't know how much I would love that.
That'd be really helpful, I imagine. Yeah. Yeah, let me drop them off. I'll be there in 30 minutes.
I'm already at your door, thanks.
I've been waiting. Thank you. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Nuggs. Here's that link for all of Nuggs stuff right there.
Thank you.
Every piece. You can find it all. This has been TravTalks. For those who don't know, this is not my normal content, but this is something that I've been doing. I've been having a ton of fun doing this. This is episode 18. And these episodes go up on YouTube, usually about-ish a week later-ish. The full VOD.
Editing sucks.
Nope. Full VOD. Don't even bother. And
Good for you.
It says it in the thing. It's like full VOD. Don't even worry about it. Like, skip around if you need to. You know.
Dude, I need to do that. Because before I was like, all right, I gotta edit it. It's YouTube. I gotta. Nope. Anyway, I'm going off topic. This has been great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have someone that you would like to send us to?
Honestly, all my people are not streaming right now.
None of them?
None.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, I guess so. Let me take a look. Let me take a look around.
Exciting. Yeah, none. You are streaming.
Yes. This is true. Let's see. We have a former self-raid. Hey, welcome, Super Raiders. Let's see here. Okay. I'm seeing if anybody is doing an event right now.
Ooh,
like
good.
a subathon or something like that. It doesn't. If we raid Trav, do we get a bonus Super Mario RPG stream? No. I've got stuff to do today.
Womp womp.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Adulting.
I know. It's so lame. So lame. For anybody here who wants to check out my socials, there they are. I'm self-promoting. It's my channel. What are you gonna do?
Check them out.
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, they're all there. That's how originally Nuggs and I found each other, was on TikTok.
That's right.
Because she was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is so hilarious. I have to follow."
No, it was, honestly, yeah. I was like,
"Thank you."
Well, because you were Tank Bros, I was like, "You're my type of humor. Like, that's funny."
Yeah, so. I mean, yeah, it's still out there. It's a good time.
It's still there.
I like it. You know, I got at Cam's request, he said, "Can you take the videos down of both of us or just the videos I made?" I said, "Of course."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Well, you know what? Let's raid into a former TravTalks guest.
Ooh. So exciting.
Last question. Did you wear a sleeveless shirt for your appearance on TravTalks? Was that on purpose?
I didn't know. Do you always wear sleeveless shirts on TravTalks?
Oh, I wear sleeveless shirts all the time.
No, honestly, it's too damn hot and humid here. And so I was like, I'm wearing a sports bra and a skirt, and that it has buttons, so it's professional.
Very. No, that's very funny. Just because, yeah, it had to be.
It had to happen. It was meant to be.
Nothing to do with how wildly hot it was.
No, of course not. I planned this. Don't tell him, okay?
It's been planned. All right, we're going to raid into Ari is here, who is a streamer friend of ours who has been on TravTalks.
Boo, 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 boo.
And she just started her stream like 20 minutes ago, so it's perfect. Perfect time.
What a great raid.
Yeah, awesome. As always, feel free to use my raid emotes, your own raid emotes. You can also use Nuggs raid emotes. I don't care who's you use, honestly.
I don't think I have a raid emote, honestly. I have to get better at that stuff.
You know, I can't draw like at all. I can doodle, but I can't draw.
I can doodle, yeah.
You know, I doodle with like my clients, but I'm like, this is not about to go up in a museum. I'm just letting you know.
This is a stick figure.
This not even like I'm not even that good. But yeah, it's you know, art is art in my opinion. Art is art, but there are people who are better at that art than I am. So
Same.
I'm like, hey, can I ask you a weird question?
Hey, can you do this thing for me?
Can you draw like a really, really tiny thing? But
oh, me? when I asked my artist friend to draw like a higao face, I was like, how do I explain this to you?
How do I don't know how I'm
that's
gonna
how you
do
say
this.
it?
I think it's a higao, right? Although I have heard that we're not supposed to use the higao face anymore.
Yeah. Because we know what it is.
Well, now that like we're more aware of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Orbit Finder, I'm out of water, but tell you what.
Here, I've got water.
Oh, perfect.
I'll drink for you.
Nuggs will hydrate for us. If you come back, I'd love to see you back. I will make sure to like get like a good like half chug just for you.
Exactly.
Just for you. Come back and be like, yo, I ordered a hydrate last time. So all right. Looks like kid's ready to come back.
Yeah, sorry.
No, never apologize. Never apologize. We'll start this raid up here. We'll start this raid up. Perfect, perfect. Again, feel free to use my raid emotes, your own raid emotes. Nuggs, thank you for being such an awesome guest.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for sharing your story. I've had a blast. And we will see you all very, very soon. Again, feel free to follow Nuggs. I posted her link tree earlier. I'm going to post it one more time.
Thank you so much.
There it is. There it is. I found it. But love to see you all again for another TravTalks episodes. We'll see you all very soon. Bomb. I'll tell you in a minute. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.